All right, guys, divisional weekend is here, which means it's time for a hodgepodge show. We got Justin Freeman joining us today to talk a little DFS, some 2-gamers, some 4-gamers, some showdown strategy. We got Davis Mattek in the co-pilot seat with me. And then a little later, the Badge Bros swinging by because, of course, there's more fucking mittens. Who knows? Maybe we even do a Big Mitten. Maybe we really look in the couch cushions and fire at that. All today here on the channel. Let's do it.
I suffer from a debilitating condition known as atrophic chokitis.
Peter's one of the greatest depositors I've ever seen.
Trust the process. Let's go. Let's go.
I got auto matched with Levitan. This is bullshit.
If I just go the other way in that 66, I win all the money. All the money.
If I had 150 lineups, I'd win too.
Process over results.
Illuminati make a bitch go crazy. I don't know which one of these my baby. Bust out AP, close 5 bullets in your head like KD. Bust it, bitch go bust it. And I had 10 pints with me in Russia.
Hey everyone.
All right, Justin Freeman, Davis Mattek. Justin, I feel like it's been a while since we've done a show. Maybe Splash Play a while ago, or maybe did we do something at the beginning of the season? I can't remember.
We've done a few things, but Splash Play was 2 years ago exactly today. It was the divisional round of the playoffs. And matter of fact, that was one of my biggest DFS hits of all time. Had a nice little runner, I guess third place bonk in the Millie that weekend. So hoping to get a little juju with you again and run it back for divisional round.
Yeah, for some reason, if you guys aren't familiar with Justin Freeman, he is, of course, one of the guys behind Run the Sims. If you guys are in the Discord and seeing me post the leverage charts relative to the sim rates, that is all Justin's brainchild there, and have definitely loved using Run the Sims throughout the year, even if it tries to jam Cordero Patterson down our throats every single week, Justin.
I mean, what can you say? The guy wins no matter what the game script looks like. That's why he always does so well. But there were a few times like I was victory lapping, like maybe like weeks 3 through 7 or something like that. He actually had a good run. But yeah, no, them's the breaks.
Yeah, Tyler Algier kind of ruined the Cordero Patterson Sims there for a while.
There's something that happens with wide receivers when you give them any percentage of market share of carries. I know this from talking with Andrew, who did our subs at Daily Roto, or our sims at Daily Roto, and got like, if I would, like Curtis Samuel, for example, like if I moved him to like 10% market share of rushes, he would go from like 0% optimal probability to like 18% optimal probability on ceiling outcomes. So there's work to be done on the Sims front, I think.
Well, it does just go to show how fragile some of the stuff is with the inputs. And that's why it is really fun with Run the Sims. And you'll see us doing this where it's like, you can maybe boost. I was really boosting Tony Pollard on the showdown slate against the Bucs, and I was still having a hard time getting him in there, even with like giving him a ton of Zeke stuff. And so sometimes when you push it to the extremes and then you see that a guy still is popping or still isn't, that's where I find the exercise to be the most useful. Although Chris is in the chat, Davis, asking the question we all want to know. You did 109 of whatever the Mitten 4. How many drafts are you doing if the Mitten returns the final fucking Mitten? It returns for the final time.
The Empire Strikes Back via the Mitten. No, my honestly, I looked at raw dollars, how many teams I had entered, and I was like, we're like walking a pretty fine line between like actually going broke, trying to catch Karane's 2 million. So I had to take a step back. I did over $2,000 of playoff drafts, and it was like, that it's a little much. It's like a little much. So I think I've done like 20 or 25 or something like that.
2 things, Justin. Are you in to join us for this collective pack where we are trying to chase down Karane's 2 million prize? And Lord knows we're not going to do it on our own. So I think if we get enough of us in here in this pack collectively, we could make a run at the 2 mil.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want to like get Utica in the collective or something, I think it's going to take a large pack. But yeah, I'm happy to be part of the force against Pat for sure.
It doesn't have anything to do with negging Pat. We are happy for Pat. We like his accomplishments, but it just you don't want to be the poor friend. I mean, look, we all know this. You don't want to be the poor friend.
And it's already starting to happen. You know, Pat doesn't come around the group chats quite as much. He's here looking at, you know, new penthouse suites in New York, king size beds. We're going to get left behind.
financial
Correct.
advisors. Yeah, I mean, the list goes on.
That's right. Justin, I know we're going to do underdog stuff later with the badge rows, but I do know real quick, you have been dabbling in the FFPC playoff streets. Karain, of course, is the king of the round 1 ownership stuff. And you saw a vacancy in the market for round 2 ownership projections. And boy, did you fill that void.
Yeah, where there's a power vacuum, somebody's going to swoop in and fill that. And I appreciate you guys roasting my ownership projections that I was just testing out on the stream yesterday. But no, it is really tough. Like it's an interesting exercise. I've not personally done a lot of ownership projections in the past, and you realize just like how fragile it is. Like, you know, you mess up Josh Allen's projection by 5%, and all of a sudden, well, that messed up every single bill. It messed up all the Eagles on the other side, and now you're too low on Hurts, and so it's easy to like breed it up if you're if you got to make everything add up to 800% across the board. So now it's fun though. Like I've got my eye on that contest this week. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to approach it, but it feels like maybe the most exploitable DFS type of contest that exists. And so I'm tempted to play maybe a little bit over my shoes this week and take some big swings at it.
Okay, you're officially in the gang then if you're playing a little bit over your skis in an effort to chase a top-heavy contest. You get the spirit of what me and Peter are trying to do.
There you go.
I mean, there were like a third of the line, the third of the initial contest was like fucking duped. Like it's unlike anything we see in DraftKings where it's like reached like near peak efficiency for optimal play. Like it's the Wild West over there on FFPC still.
Well, and the longer you stretch it, the more I think people like want to consolidate around things that feel really comfortable. Like nobody really wants to let, George Kittle ride for a 3-week potential period where you've got Christian McCaffrey as your other option for San Fran. Like people are going to have a hard time clicking on that, and makes more sense to play more entries. It's a pain in the neck to play more entries, but I mean, when you're talking about that type of ROI on it, like I think it's pretty strong.
And I will say, if you do want to dive into the round 2 stuff, some good resources. So go to Justin Freeman's Twitter. He did post updated ownership projections that looked very, very good to me on Ship Chasing on Wednesday. We spent a little time on the show building a lineup and talking through a few things. And then I know Leone did an episode on Establish the Edge. And then Sean Siegel also had a really good article up on Rotoviz. So those would be my resources I would point you in the direction of. But we're going to talk more DFS here. What do you guys think? Like, what is the most interesting slate? Like, where's the money? What are you guys going to be playing this weekend?
Well, all 4 of the main slate. Well, I guess all 3. I'll be playing the 4-gamer, both of the 2-gamers, all the showdowns. Though I did find last week my mental capacity to do showdown properly was not nearly as good when trying to think about late swaps and also just like, am I live on underdog or did I just waste $2,000? Like what, like FFPC, NFFC type stuff. So I just did single entry in showdown, which is pretty fun. I mean, just captain the wide receiver 2 on the favorite team, and you're going to have like a live team for showdown. That's a good hack. But I mean, the price pools for the 4-gamer seem fine. Like basically what we had for the 6-gamer last week.
Justin, are you going to be in the Mega Millionaire streets? I'm seeing it right now. 568 entries, million up top, classic, 150,000 a second.
Yeah, I'm going after that one this week. So I'll be maxing I'll be 150 maxing the primary 4-game slate on DraftKings, and I think I'm going to max both the 2-gamers on FanDuel. I like those 2-gamers on FanDuel because they're $5 entries and 200K up top. So at a certain point, like I don't even care how many entries it is. Like if it's 100,000 versus 238,000, like at that point, what's the difference?
What's the difference? You're gonna need the optimal to ship it anyway.
Exactly. So let's make the optimal and give it a try. And $750, not the biggest investment in the world. You're gonna get some of that back if you're diverse. But I like that. So I'm going 2-gamers on FanDuel, 4-gamer on DraftKings. Probably not super into the showdowns because like I love the late swap options on playing that 4-gamer on DraftKings. Like it's the nut spot if you're into game theory whatsoever. Like to be able to say there's 3 separate windows to make changes to your roster and improve your odds to climb up the leaderboard. And so that's where I want to try to like set my edge and go after it.
What is your process for that? I mean, I guess it's a little easier when you have the slow burn, but I mean, I know I've even talked to Brian on LOL sometimes, and he just like kind of shrugs his shoulder and says he gets lazy with late swap type stuff. I mean, with a 150 set, are you rerunning everything? Are you just looking at the interesting lineups and hand building updates on those, or what?
Yeah. So like we did this last week where there was the Sunday slate was a 3-gamer. And so that was a good one. So the games actually ended up overlapping a little bit, which made it a little bit tough because you still had a lot of possible PMR left when you're making some of those decisions, especially between the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games. But it's very different on these sequential slates versus like the Sunday main slates during the rest of the year, like where you're still like defending on so many different fronts and have like a much more complex decision tree. This is pretty straightforward. So what I do is like classify my lineups into like super live, pretty live, and then like min cash equity. And so like we're basically, I will, obviously I'm going to prioritize my time accordingly, but usually like it's just fire up the CSV, try to identify that lineup that has the best combination of points and PMR left, and just kind of go one at a time through those.
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. I do not have a process or the brain to manage that. So I will be firing probably single bullets and 3 max entries this week. Davis, are you what contests are you looking at?
I mean, I'll just be in the spy in the red zone probably for all the slates. It's like, that's like, also another thing is like, I'm just tired. We've been doing so many of these slates. It's like, what am I going to do? Like 9 teams on the 4-gamer and be swapping all of these and being like, shit, do I got to get off Devin Singletary for James Cook here? Is this thin enough? I have to go to Tyler Boyd. It's like, yeah, I would prefer to focus on like, if I could get like 6 teams that I could like actually think about for the weekend, that seems like good to me.
So Justin, one thing I struggle with, like I love playing Showdown. I feel like I have a process. I know what I want to do with that. I highly leverage the Sims when I'm building those lineups. And I feel like I have a decent grasp on how to play the main slates. I know kind of my target, ceiling versus ownership. Like I have that down. These short slates, basically anywhere between the 2 to 4 gamers, 2 gamers specifically, they are very hard for me. For some reason, I can't wrap my brain around it. Can you give me like a little macro thought on how you're porting over maybe Showdown level strategy, classic main slate to build really good 2, 3-gamer, 4-gamer lineups?
Yeah, so in a 4-gamer, I'm thinking about building very similarly to the way I'd build for a larger slate, in the sense that like the roster's got to make sense. Like I don't have to go like extremely far off the board. Like maybe I dig into like the Noah Grays of the world or something, but more than likely,
Davis peaks up when you say that. Yeah.
Noah Gray is like my nut play on the 4-gamer.
Yeah, there you go. So, but I mean, ultimately, you can still keep a tight player pool. Triple stack your quarterback, like make the lineup make sense. Like you can obviously overstack a lot on those. The 2-gamers really are weird because you're trying to like break conventional rules, because you really do need to land on very close to the perfect optimal. So you're going to have to say like, yeah, it's okay for quarterback to be going against his own defense or something, or it's okay to go Pacheco plus McKinnon in the same lineup, or it's okay to like, and so you're getting at a point where it's like your best lineups are approaching like true randomness. And so then you're just hoping that you get lucky on the right, in a very small sample size. So it's just like Showdown in that regard, like where you're the best lineup as far as EV that you can play is a super unlikely lineup to actually hit. And so you're hoping that, over a long enough sample, you'll come out on the good side, but know that you're probably going to lose. But I feel much more comfortable that like I could actually maybe swing a profit on this 4-game slate, regardless of sort of how things play out. Like that's possible. 2-game slate, it's like Ricky Bobby. If you're not first, you're last.
Yeah.
I think a good rule of thumb is to build lineups that violate base settings that come with an optimizer. So like play a defense against your quarterback. That's a pretty easy one. And we've already seen that thing happen on a short slate this year with that Colts Vikings comeback where the Colts defense was in the optimal, and a Kirk Cousins, I believe, quadruple stack. I think Jefferson, Thielen, Osborne, and Hawkinson were all in the optimal on that slate. And then also, because when you have a running quarterback, that changes the complexity a little bit too, where you could like stack the other game, but then put Jalen Hurts in there and hope that Jalen Hurts runs for 3 touchdowns, just stuff like that.
Justin, do you on like a 2-gamer, and I actually do think we should rather talk about the 4-gamer just because it's a little more interesting and there are big prize pools for it. But on the 2-gamer, are you more likely to overstack a single game, just like load up on it, or maybe onslaught 2 teams and just play it from that? Or is it just completely variable based on slate dynamics for you?
Yeah, so like if I'm gonna play 150 lineups, like I do want some combinations of all of those different types of possibilities. I think the pure single game stack onslaught from 2 teams, like where 7 of your 9 roster spots are coming from one particular game, and maybe even within that 7, you've got like 5 versus 2 or something like that, where it's a bit unbalanced in favor of your quarterback side of that equation. I like the way that adds up, where you just need one game to just significantly outperform, and the rising tide's going to lift so many boats comparatively. And it's obviously just like you need one shootout, and now all of a sudden you've elevated this entire portfolio of lineups. But people obviously, it's just kind of a constant meta game, right? Where people are adjusting to that type of information and then making onslaught type lineups, and then maybe the flip side of that is, if you're, instead of running 5-2 from one particular game, go 5 from the game that you like, and then like a 2 or 3 from the primary offense on the second game. So there's a lot of different ways to go. But I do think like the most straightforward way, especially if you're running like 3 lineups or something like that, just take 7 guys from one game. I like the 5-2. Just it'll feel wrong because it's like there's no way that Jerick McKinnon gets there, and and Smith-Schuster gets there, and Kelsey gets there. And it's like, well, the floor for like what a qualifying score is in this lineup is so high. And then also for 2 gamers, like same showdown rules apply, which is don't be afraid to leave some salary on the table just to get rid of the dupes.
Yeah, and I think, this has been a dynamic that's played out in all of these playoff contests, the playoff best ball stuff too, specifically the Jags and the Giants wide receivers. Like we've seen so many of those pieces pop up for big games, have ceiling games, and yet the field specifically because of pricing dynamics is going to get funneled to some of these. Like I did run the blended optimals here, take a drink, blended optimal, seeing Richie James and Zay Jones pop up in a ton of these, like right off the rip, getting to guys like Christian Kirk, getting to guys like Hodgins or Slayton seems like a good way to differentiate yourself.
Yeah. Slayton seems like the not too hot, not too cold, just right type guy, where it's like Richie James is the guy you click in if you're a sort by points per dollar bro. Hodgins is the guy you play if you're a game theory, like I'm going to play what other people aren't playing, bro. And then Slayton is the like, if we're doing Jedi bell curve meme, it's like he's the 160 IQ one for the Giants.
Any thoughts, Justin, when you see these optimals of something to exploit, chalk you're willing to eat? I assume you're going to have a little bit of all these elite quarterbacks with the monster ceilings.
Yeah, and this is just the 2-gamer you've got up here, right, Pete?
No. This is
the 4-gamer. Okay,
this
cool,
is
cool,
the
cool.
4-gamer. Yep.
Gotcha. I keep getting spit out a lot of McCaffrey, a lot of Saquon for many of the same reasons that Davis kind of alluded to in his Curtis Samuel example about like you give a guy just a little bit of receiving load to go along with that rushing load, and all of a sudden there's a lot of paths to them popping. So Saquon, they're obviously 2 very expensive players, and like I'm not that afraid to play them both in the same lineup. I'm pretty excited about both of those guys actually. As like, I love the idea of a 2 running back build in many of those. So just go ahead and rock and roll with those 2 and be like, the receiver pricing is just simply not going to matter. Like you're going to need the 4 roughly highest scoring receivers in or a tight end to go along with that. So, I think a nut optimal lineup probably is going to spend like less than $49K.
Yeah. Do you think Davis people will get to the two expensive quarterbacks together a lot, or most people would just be choosing one?
My guess is the base roster construction is going to be Hurts and one of his wide receivers with one of these Giants punts, McCaffrey or Barkley, pin the tail on a Chief, a Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver, and that's kind of the basis. Actually, I mean, I'm sitting here looking at these Sims being like, well, I'm just going to build Chief stuff because it looks like it's like, one, that's my natural inclination anyway. But if the Jaguars defense isn't even good. Like if the optimal bros are not going to be playing the Chiefs, like let me and my 60 IQ brethren get there with our Mahomes, triple stacks.
Yeah. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar with this, so I'm over on Run the Sims. I love the DIY simulator. You can run it for all the different slates, even FanDuel, a site that is perpetually borked, but you can run it for the showdown ones. You can run it for the 2-gamer, the 4-gamer, and gives you a really good idea here of what the optimal rate is. And then I also like to then kind of compare to aggregated ownership projection. So I can just pull up here for the 4-gamer. You can see with the really aggressive sim result on Barkley, he's popping as the biggest difference relative to ownership. Although things look pretty efficient after that, seeing some Tyler Boyd, there's Devonta Smith, Juju, Higgins, Big Cock Brock, Kadarius Toney. Any other leverage plays you like here, Justin, based on the sims and aggregated ownership?
Yeah, I was noticing not a ton of leverage at quarterback position. Purdy actually checks in as a little bit of a value there. I wonder if that ownership might actually bump up a little bit closer to game time with a little recency bias under his belt. I like Kelsey a ton this week. Like Kelsey, 7,700, price don't matter on a short slate. The bar for clearing for tight end, he just, he doesn't even have to go nuts for like 27, just be the highest scoring guy. I am very salary agnostic on a slate like this. Like, just don't care that he's, $3,400 more than Evan Ingram. Doesn't matter to me. To me, he's like a smash play. The fact that he's coming in under owned, like, that's a good reason for me to fire him up and to really get the Mahomes stacks going, even though like I showed Mahomes as slightly over owned. Like I've said this in the past, like quarterback ownership is not something I'm trying to make decisions based off of. If you show me that there's 2 or 3 pass catchers, matter of fact, the 2 best pass catchers in terms of leverage on my stuff right now are Juju and Kelsey. So like, boom, there's a double stack right there.
I mean, but what if you give Noah Gray like an 8% target share? How high does his leverage go?
Yeah, we could go and see the base, the rate. Davis fiddling with the Sims to get Noah Gray across 100% of his lineups. Is there, you mentioned, Justin, like throwing, salary stuff out the window. Like I had pulled up some of the ceiling and the ownership. Do you have, like, when you're 150 maxing, are you capping accumulative ownership? Like, how are you making sure you're leveraged enough to get to the top?
Yeah, I'm still trying to fill out what I think is a proper number for this 4-game slate. I keep kind of raising and lowering that. I've got it right around 150% total ownership for this slate right now. I may allow a few more chalkier lineups in. Obviously, it's a little tougher to do the like product ownership limitations or filters on most optimizers, but I'm cool with hanging it in that range. And usually what that does sort of by necessity is it forces in some guy that you wouldn't ordinarily play into a lineup. Like you might get a T.Y. Hilton in there. You might get a Zay Jones or somebody like that most people tend to not click on. And like, you want just enough sprinklings of those guys to give you a chance if they're the guy you need, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Did any of these other plays, Davis, seem like obvious fades for some of the chalk guys in these optimals?
I mean, yeah. You go T over Chase. That's easy. You're picking up like so much leverage doing that. You go. This is actually like a little bit of an edge here. Jamal Agnew is legit questionable. And if he doesn't play, Marvin Jones' snap share is going to go from like 55% to like 75%. And we're talking about a guy who's like going to be 3% owned in a 4-game slate. That's pretty low. And then honestly, to me, any tight end like the $3,000 tight ends, all of them, Bellinger, Hurst, like whoever, those guys all just seem like really good. Like this is like the worst year ever for tight end scoring. And, Pete, I haven't had any dreams about Dalton Schultz the way that I did last week. So I don't know if he's nearly as optimal as he was last week.
Well, I think on the tight end thing, it's a good point too. And about maybe Kelsey being under-owned, which is so funny because we had this whole season of Travis Kelsey, giant gap, the rest of the tight ends. And then these past couple weeks, we've seen these other tight ends really surge and produce to where now the field is much more comfortable being like, why would I pay up for Kelsey when I can play Kittle, I can play Schultz, I can play Ingram, Dawson Knox has been scoring. It feels like the field is talking themselves into this being flatter than it probably really is.
Exactly. Yeah, like take the guy who's just an absolute alpha at the position. I think it's great to tight end week too, though. Like, so don't let the fact you want to play Kelsey keep you from playing Dawson Knox or Hayden Hurst or whoever. What do you guys think about the fact that the Giants and Eagles are playing each other for the third time? Like, does that like factor into your decision at all in terms of
you're talking to the wrong two bros, Justin?
Couldn't care less.
To Justin's point, though, like the first two games were so, you had the Eagles route. That was the Miles Sanders game, 144 rush yards, 2 TDs. And then you had the Davis Webb game as well. And Hurts maybe not 100% healthy. It's like, it feels like we haven't seen the version of these two teams both playing at their best, fully healthy, which is obviously what we're going to get this weekend.
Yeah, and I just wonder like whether they've all showed so much tape that both teams have responded and it could just like underwhelm in some ways. Like that's a concern. Like I think we saw that with the Ravens and the Bengals last week. Like that the Bengals should have killed the Ravens. Like it should have been a bloodbath, like, per the metrics and everything. But it's their third time playing each other. The Ravens like put a relative lid on the Bengals offense.
Yeah. Who would, if you do, it is interesting. You mentioned like the two tight end thing, and we saw this dynamic play out throughout the season too. Like even when you're looking at ceiling projections, like Evan Ingram ceiling projection of 24, 4,300 salary. And then you go look at Zay Jones, 4,700 salary, 20 ceiling projection and comparable ownership. So like even getting a different teammate with a higher ceiling and the double tight end will make you more unique just in general. I do like kind of that lean.
Yeah, I would be looking for reasons to play two tight ends because that's just a really easy way to get different. Nobody likes playing two tight ends. It's a good build. I mean, the Jags offense has been a lot of fun for like the last 2 months. Like I've really enjoyed watching those guys play, and like we've been high on Zay like every single week, and to the point where I just don't understand why people keep clicking on Christian Kirk over Zay Jones. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. The usage is very similar. I guess it's just the touchdown upside.
It's because people remember Zay Jones being like a practice squad level wide receiver for the first 5 years of his career. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, maybe so.
I still have a hard time clicking on Zay Jones because I remember this dude being like the Bills' 9th string wide receiver.
Well, this is the beauty of Run the Sims here. If you can say, hey, Justin Freeman's been watching too many Josh Norris videos and is way too high on this Zay Jones character, then you can just come in here and say, no, this is more of a 12% market share. I'm giving that 10 to Christian Kirk here. And then this is how you bully Christian Kirk into the Sims, because then you just rerun it and we can vault Christian Kirk up here with a 36% target share as the top optimal guy. Yeah.
Easy game.
Easy game.
Exactly. So if you want to hop on Run the Sims and bully the Sims, you can do that. But again, like obviously I took 10% of market share, which is a very big amount, but you can quickly see how fragile this stuff is and thinking about ranges of outcomes. And I kind of agree with you on Zay, except it does seem like the ownership is going to reflect that in a way this week.
Yeah, he's definitely creeping up there a little bit, much more than he has. Matter of fact, he'll be, I'm showing slightly more owned than Kirk this week, despite being, because he's $1,300 less, more than likely. But yeah, no, it's interesting. Like, I mean, just think about all the different places where leverage exists. Like, Davis, you mentioned this, receiver teammates, such an easy way to just go somewhere slightly different, tell yourself the same story, except for instead of Jamar, it's T, or instead of Jamar, it's Tyler Boyd, or instead of Christian Kirk, it's Zay Jones, or instead of Juju, it's MVS or whatever.
Yeah. Man, Justin really asking us to get our hands in the dirt here. How much does Zay get used out of the slot? Chiefs getting killed by the slot against their safeties and linebackers. Freeman's gonna have to take this one because Lord knows Davis and I aren't fucking helping you out with this.
The Chiefs defense, they're just bad against everyone. Like if you have a good player on your offense, they're going to do good against the Chiefs because the Chiefs, they're built the same way those old Manning's Colts teams used to be. All their money on defense is dedicated to their edge rushers, and they don't spend money or picks on anyone else because they're going to be winning every game by 10 points a half.
Yeah, Christian Kirk's your slot man. 75% slot rate, 33% for Zay Jones. Not the guy you need in the slot.
All right, there we go. You guys want to build a total shipper here for the Millie? We can get.
I'm now more than $2 million behind Karain after a disastrous wild card round. So we need the shipper.
Dude, we got to keep firing. We have to keep firing. Here, Justin, so we're going to build this one to climb to the top. Please don't dupe us, yada, yada. Justin, what do you want to start out with here? You can get us a stack. I know you love Barkley, McCaffrey. If you want to roll that out, what do you want to do?
Yeah, we're going to start with Barkley in this lineup and go ahead and allocate some salary. It'll make us tighten the purse strings at a different position. But yeah, a guy who, like, even if he has a median type of game, could still very well be a.
What if I told you McCaffrey's the way better play? Do you disagree?
No, I mean.
Okay. You think the ownership discount is going to be big though?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a much easier click on McCaffrey for sure.
Okay. Are you, Justin? How do you think about Are you willing to use him as a one-off? Are you willing to use him with Daniel Jones? Are you willing to use him as a bring back and hurt stuff? Like, how are you thinking about him in the larger context of the lineup?
Yeah, I've got a lot of rules built out right now, and currently allowing Daniel Jones and Saquon in the same lineup. In fact, kind of encouraging it to a certain degree. But I also want in this Daniel Jones script to have at least 2 receivers in there too. So we're just going full Danny Dimes beast mode, and everybody gets fed.
Mm-hmm. All right, Davis, what do you want to do next with Barkley already in?
No, great.
Oh my God.
It's not a bit. I will be playing. Noah Gray will be at least 1% owned in the 4-day spy because he's going to be on my team.
What's his ceiling, Davis? Like, what's the ceiling game for Noah Gray?
12 points.
Well,
and you think that's good enough?
10 points this season.
If multiple expensive players, right? So like if Mahomes gets 30 and let's say Chase and AJ Brown both go for 25 plus.
So you just eating all the chalk and then taking Noah Gray.
Or Devonta Smith or CMC. Like I'm saying, like, you have 3 guys above 7,000 DraftKings dollars all get like mega nuke. You will need, maybe it won't be Noah Gray, maybe it'll be Ballinger, maybe it'll be some other, Marvin Jones Jr., but you will need someone of that ilk.
Okay. Man, this lineup off to a roaring start. This is how we win the mill. Barkley, Noah Gray. All right, what am I going to do? Let's do the Christian Kirk. We've talked a lot about Kirk. I got him into being the top optimal by giving him a 30% target share. Let's toss Christian Kirk in here. Back to you, Justin.
All right. We are looking for some. Let's see here. I'm trying to make a correlation. All right, so we're going Barkley. So maybe we're not going to go McCaffrey here. Maybe we go with I'm debating going Cowboys D here as a bit of a leverage option.
I love that. I unironically love that.
So everyone's playing hot potato with the quarterback, but I know Davis is going to come here guns a-blazing, giving us our QB.
It's time.
Yeah, we're going Patty.
All right, so that gives us our lineup so far: Mahomes to Noah Gray, Barkley, Christian Kirk, and Cowboys D. This truly is a hodgepodge lineup for a hodgepodge show. If we're doing Mahomes and we're doing Gray, I don't think we want to do Kelsey and Gray together. So let's do Juju in here.
I was just about to recommend Kelsey and Gray in the same lineup.
Okay,
here.
We still can.
But because I mean, like
that's deep in the combos.
Yeah. Now you've done something really unusual.
Well, if you're thinking about it, Kelsey's your tight end and you're playing Gray as like your punt wide receiver, essentially is what you're doing. So I'm down. I'd much rather play Kelsey than Juju now that I think about it. So let's let it rip.
Okay. So we got what, almost 5K per player. Let's see, our good buddy Jared McKinnon coming in at 6K. Let's go McKinnon.
Okay. This is getting towards your thing where you were talking about you like the 5-2s for these. Although this is the 4-gamer, not the 2-gamer, but still.
So maybe don't have to get quite as crazy, but Noah Gray kind of backed us in a corner here.
All right, Davis, we got 2 spots, 4,400 here. We're either going to need another punt for mid-range or go like 2 value guys.
G Davis, easy click for me.
Yeah, 4,800, way too cheap there. That leaves us with 4,100 here.
Sitting there beautifully.
Who do you want?
Darius, what do you think?
I mean, his usage has been pretty piss poor lately, right? But
targets per route all-star, bro. Targets per route run. No one
I would
better in the
probably have
NFL.
set a rule of like max 1 Tony Gray in the optimizer, though, right? Like
that's the kind of rule when you're reviewing your
If
lineups
you-
at
if
3
you had-
a.m. and you need a Gray Tony.
Freeman, if you had to guess, where do you think Noah Gray ranks in terms of receptions on the Kansas City Chiefs?
I'm gonna guess he has 39 receptions, which is good enough for 3rd, 4th,
Nice. He's 5th.
5th. Okay, I figured you were asking because he grades out well.
The thesis by Noah Gray is the dude just plays a ton. He plays 60% of their offensive snaps, and like that, if the Chiefs score 35 here, you've played worse.
What about Marvin Jones to round that out there?
Yeah, all of these guys are jumbled up with the same ceiling projection range. Tyler Boyd probably the best.
We could do Marvin Jones Bellinger if people really hate the Noah Gray play that much.
No, the fact that I hate it so much means it's probably good, Davis. I like the double bring back if we're just loading up. I mean, if there's a game where Noah Gray's scoring 2 touchdowns, Lord knows Marvin Jones is scoring 1 too.
Amen.
There it is. This feels like just a stone cold shipper right here.
Yeah,
guys.
the shipper, baby.
Would you set a min 1 Cincinnati receiver rule? Like, I mean, would that be a thing? Like, you got to have at least Boyd or Higgins or Chase.
Well, so I wouldn't do that if I was playing 150 lineups. I don't think I'd do that, but I would do that maybe on a subset of 50 of them.
Yeah.
Or if Allen or if Cook, something like that, then min 1 of those 3 guys. Maybe even include Hurst in there.
Justin, do you have any? Have you gotten to look at all at the showdown slates? Anything intriguing you here? Or will you be mainly focusing on 2 and 4 gamer?
Yeah, I doubt to touch them. Honestly, I've been playing less showdown this year, trying to find some concrete edges. It's really tough to like solidify and identify your edges and where they are and to what extent you have one. So I've been playing a little bit lighter towards the second half of the season.
Yeah. I can pull up here real quick the Sims for the 2-gamer on Saturday if people are looking at that one. So definitely some familiar faces there. Barkley, Kelsey rises a bit more to a 53% optimal rate. You see Zay, Juju, Eagles defense really starting to pop, which is interesting there against the Barkley. Using those 2 together could be interesting. Anything else jump out here?
Do you guys have Eagles running back takes?
I mean, we just did this whole thing on 4 NFL games and didn't say the names Miles Sanders or Joe Mixon, which probably indicates like Mixon in particular seems like gnarly leverage because we know he's got that insane ceiling. I think a lot of, I think this way, like I think Bengals Bills is basically a coin flip. Like I could see either team winning that game. I could see the Bengals. I mean, I could also see the Bengals like getting laughed out of the building, like losing by 20 as well. But I mean, Mixon what do we think he's going to be owned? Like maybe 18, 19, 20%, like kind of that range.
Mm-hmm.
But he could outscore Bar. I mean, I bet, doesn't he have more fantasy points this year than Barkley? Like, it's really would not be surprising at all to see him be in the optimal, I don't think.
The chat is on fire for the fun party fact of the week, which is Boston Scott has 10 career touchdowns against the Giants and always scores against the Giants. Are we buying into the Boston Scott astrology this week?
These absolute airheads, dude. They're like, you can't play Noah Gray. You can't play a guy who plays 60% of his snaps with Patrick Mahomes. But you know what we need? The Eagles' third string running. Yeah,
God.
It's like, okay, guys, that's why all of us don't have $2 million. Like, I don't have $2 million, but guess what? You guys don't either because of the Boston Scott astrology.
I mean, let's see, Justin. Let's see what kind of market share you're giving him. You're giving him a decent chunk, 15% rushing market share, only 1.5% receiving market share, and you are giving him a higher market share of touchdowns than Gainwell. Basically, what this is saying is he is live to fall in the end zone and keep his Giants streak alive.
No shot does this dude have 15% market share of the Philadelphia Eagles carries.
I mean, what is the deal with this backfield? Because I think it's so funny because historically the Eagles always had the committee, the Jordan Howards, the Boston Scotts. This year we see Miles Sanders finally take over. And yet now the Boston Scott astrology bros have basically strong-armed Justin into making this market share 15%.
You got to keep the astrology bros at arm's length. But I mean, like, Boston Scott last 2 weeks, 13%, 26%. I mean, I know like week 17 didn't really matter. They were playing without Jalen Hurts and everything, but 26% last week, like in a game that they had to win to get to the playoffs. Like, that's not nothing.
Yeah, but the Giants like literally could not move the ball on offense for a huge chunk of that game.
What's that got to do with Boston Scott getting 26%?
But also, additionally, Miles Sanders' knee was in a brace for that game. He was
probably still is.
It's not. The official Elliott Shore Parks tweeted on Wednesday, the brace is gone.
Oh, there you go.
I will also say I would love to preside over a Davis Mattek versus Justin Freeman mayoral bet involving Boston Scott and Noah Gray. You guys care to set some terms?
Well, here, let me look at what I have projected. I might have Boston Scott projected for more points.
Yeah,
I kind of hope you do, David. I'd be worried about your Noah Gray projection if it was coming in much higher. Let me see what the blended has it at.
4.1 for Scott versus 3.4 for Gray. So I mean,
dude, so the blended ceiling has them both at 7 points. I mean, this is a fair bet, guys. It's time to get it in.
I've got Noah Gray 3.9, and I've got Boston Scott.
Imagine pounding the table for a guy with a projection of 3.9. Just
I only have 2.4 for Boston Scott, but I also have Jalen Hurts with a 36% market share of rush, and I bet you have lower.
Yeah, that's reasonable for sure. It's kind of hard to know what to expect after the shoulder and everything.
I just am saying, like, this is a playoff game. No more screwing around. It's time to go.
This is what they meant by getting a full 3.9. Is the Noah Gray Boston Scott projection there? All right, fine. If you guys want to settle this behind closed doors, I don't know, something. I haven't seen an Avi bet on Twitter in a while. Do people still do that? You got to change your Avi to Noah Gray or
Ben Solak and Steven Ruiz from The Ringer do them all the time. Those guys just volley back and forth takes about Justin Herbert. I feel like Justin Herbert is going to keep those two guys employed for their entire lives, but those are the only people I've seen do them.
If it was a headshot with no jersey numbers, is there any chance anybody would recognize a Noah Gray Avi or a Boston Scott Avi?
No chance. No chance.
I have ulterior motives because I'm just trying to get, Davis to ditch the photo of me as his Avi.
Here's the thing. I'm afraid to do anything to my Twitter profile because the rules on what Elon is doing for the verification change like every day. So I'm worried if I start changing stuff around, because when you click on my thing, it says I have the legacy verification, not the Twitter Blue verification. But I'm worried if I start changing stuff around that they'll take away my legacy verification.
Dude, there is nothing better that I can imagine of you having golden handcuffs with my profile picture in fear of Elon shadow banning your account if you get rid of me as your PFP. That's too perfect.
I mean, I unironically believe my account is like semi-shadow banned. I like actually believe that because some of the tweets I do that should have way more numbers don't. I have to really finesse the algorithm to get in there.
You have to really say some crazy shit to get some replies in your mentions. That's what you're saying?
I got to do like dynasty fantasy football takes to really get in the algorithm. It's horrible, man.
Oh my God. You just made me realize we are not far away from dynasty fantasy football just taking over Twitter with these.
You got
takes.
like, buddy, you got like a month. You got like a month.
I'm still dying at the one from the weekend where the guy was like, Brock Purdy's already a better quarterback than Justin Fields, and then used the clip of Brock Purdy throwing a hospital ball to Jawan Jennings as his evidence. And I'm like, oh boy, buckle up for a long season.
Pete, what's more refreshing for you, in season or out of season content?
I mean, I love the fucking summer. I love best ball drafting.
Best ball summer, dude. No one's wrong yet. No one's wrong yet.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And your best friend hasn't won $2 million yet either.
Yeah, it's back then when you're the one who could win $2 million, not your friend who watches your video to help him win $2 million, drafting fucking 9 Dolphins and Patriots. But we're not bitter at all. No, we're happy for him. Justin, appreciate you swinging by today. Got all kinds of stuff going on over at Run the Sims. We do have the promo code Pete down in the description. If you guys want to give it a test drive, you guys do weekly passes. Very good time to get it, especially for these big conference championship and Super Bowl showdown slates. Anything else I'm forgetting over at Run the Sims, Justin?
Yeah, one of my favorite tools that you can utilize, especially for these playoff games where the second half contests are a little bit larger, is like go in and make some second half showdown sims, because that's been a really lucrative thing over the past 12 months or so. I had a really good Super Bowl last year by basically just reacting to what you're seeing on the screen and, basically creating your own market shares mentally and putting those in the system. If it's the Chiefs in and all of a sudden, like you see, it's the McKinnon game, like the Pacheco's just not even on the field, like go ahead and adopt those target shares and market shares in there. And then hit Run the Sims, get the best lineups, toss them in the contest, rock and roll, print catch.
So are you updating, like for the halftime ones, are you updating like the points scored to just like the implied live line basically?
Exactly. Yeah. Basically cutting them in half and then reacting to that live, the live markets there, and then cutting the pace down to roughly half, maybe fudging it up for the team that's trailing and, decreasing the run rate for that team and increasing it for the other team, just depending on how lopsided or even keel it is. But yeah, no, and you really realize like how fragile a lot of the projections are too, like, because, over a game that has like roughly 65 offensive plays per team, like you're gonna, things somewhat stabilize, like, but in you cut that sample size down in half and like really all hell breaks loose.
Eric is trying to take food away from your family. He wants to know, are there any free trials for Run the Sims? We got a freeloader here, Justin.
No free trials right now. I got to pay the piper, but if we do, we'll keep you posted.
There you go. Now it's definitely worth it if you're going to play any kind of volume here down the stretch. Get your feet wet. Justin, good luck. Keep up your divisional round heater, and we will talk to you soon, my man.
See you guys.
Peace. All right, we are going to bring in one of the badge bros. Where are the rest of your badge bros here, John?
That's a great question. Nez is big timing us in Hollywood still on his time.
Oh yeah, Davis, did you see Nez hanging out with Tyler the Creator?
No, that's so sick though.
Yeah,
I'd never heard of him.
Nez's wife is a more successful influencer and content creator than all of us will ever be combined. So that's we're chasing her and Karain right now is what we're all doing.
I'm sick, dude. Like, what's the point?
Yo,
I gotta find a new job, dude. I gotta go be a pencil pusher somewhere, man.
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of it.
Davis, is that a girl skateboard hat?
Mm-hmm. Actually, nice. It's a girl skateboard Malbon golf.
Oh yeah.
Collaboration type thing. I was like, I'm a huge sucker for collabs. You got to do it.
Here's the new me with Tyler the Creator there the other night. Just living the good life out there. What are they actually doing? Is it some kind of influencer event?
Yeah, you people on Netflix, the show premiere.
Yeah.
I don't know, or movie premiere.
His buddy Taco is in it, so I assume he probably has a little guest bit as well.
Yeah, Nez will
Gotcha.
tell you guys when he comes. He'll be here. He just said 10 minutes or something like that. But I think Taco was sitting in front of him and just texting through the whole movie or something
Wow.
like that.
Disrespect.
He's a busy guy, bro. What do you? Come on,
Yeah.
these people
Davis
don't have
quickly-
time to enjoy anything.
That's true.
Davis quickly sympathizes with anyone who would multitask like that during a movie. That just directly relates to you, Davis.
That's what do we? I mean, well, dude, come on. Time is the most valuable resource. You can't just be doing one thing at once.
All right, Badge Bros. Are you guys? I know you guys focused a lot on the battle royales early in the week. Are you guys exhausted by the avalanche of mittens? Just the never-ending mittens. Are you firing at all these? Or are you waving the white flag?
I took the biggest of L's in the round one with the Justin Jefferson Viking stance. So we came out very poor. We advanced 4 teams out of the mini that we did. So I haven't even dipped. I dipped my toes into 1 and I got sniped. It was literally I had ended with I think Minshew, and I'm just like, this is stupid. I'm done. Going to the BR.
Wow,
so I've just been focusing BR.
Yeah.
I can't.
What about you, John?
I have mitten fatigue. Actually, I got a pretty cool story though. Like this literally happened to me like 10 seconds ago. I literally just went to grab like lunch and I grabbed a couple of adult sodas at the liquor store there while I was leaving. And the kid at the counter, I was drafting a BR team at the time. And the kid at the counter is like, yo, you're on the clock. And I'm like, oh yeah, thanks, man. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm a sucker for those mittens too. And like just like a random kid. I was like, no chance, dude. And I was like, yo, I do a little bit of content around it. I was like, have you ever heard of the Badge Bros? He's like, nope. He's like, have you ever heard of Pete Overzet? He's like, nope. Ever heard of Davis Mattek? Nope. He's like, have you heard of Jack Settlement? I was like, oh man, yes.
No, that's what he hit you with, the Jack Settlement?
Dude, straight up.
No,
straight
dude.
up. This
I
happened
can't.
5 minutes ago. On my life. On my life.
Oh man.
This happened 5 minutes ago. He told me
this
his
is how
username,
Jack
too.
wins.
Yeah.
He gets these young Snapchatters on to fire one like 5-leg parlay, and then they say,
I've never gotten like a viral, like, you know, when you go to your Snapchat page, I mean, Pete probably not because you're 100, but I've never gotten like on the thing. I've never gotten Pete's or Jack's thing, snapback, whatever. Like it's never shown up on my For You page on Snapchat.
That's how I like found most of like I got into this like years ago. Was following Jack on Snapchat. I was like,
has
that's
anyone
hilarious.
actually ever verified he has 1 million followers? Because he just tells us this, and none of us are young enough to even be on that app. Like, I'm not even convinced he does.
I think he has. Yeah, he has. Well, he has like Snapback. Well, he has Snapback Sports by Jack. He has Jack Settlement. He has Snapback Bets. He has another thing. Like he has like he's like YouTube there all where we have all these different channels, and then now they all pop up on mine. So
just relax. Well, man, I am glad that you had that interaction, John, and not me. I don't know if I would have been able to handle it. I mean, between Corain winning 2 mil and Jack, you know, influencing people to do mittens, that might have just been it for me. It might have been just time for the showers.
Yeah.
So, sorry, John, what were you saying about the mittens? Because I remember last time we talked, you were just like jamming 5/5s in there. But I feel like with the divisional round ones, like that's really hard to pull off. There's such a talent gap if you are like just hell bent on getting 5 Chiefs and 5 Eagles or whatever.
Yeah, I've shifted more to like 3 and 4 team builds for sure. But I've also done like a lot of little mix in like one-offs. But I'm quite fond of mini game stacks and just admitting that some of them will be dead. I'm kind of fine with it. Like this week, like just throwing like a Tony Pollard in there with some of the early San Fran pieces and just being
just
accept
that 50% of your teams are dead, like regardless of what you do.
Exactly. Yeah. I've really opened up to that mindset in the returns versus like the OG contests.
Yeah. I've been doing the same thing, partly because it's just like I can't stomach taking fucking Ray McLeod like over a guy that has an actual ceiling, and so I've been doing that a lot too. Even guys like Marvin Jones, and I guess you could push back that Marvin Jones is Ray McLeod, but at least some guys that I think have a single game ceiling and playing it as a game stack just to advance.
Dude,
I've been doing
Ray McLeod had a 70-yard touchdown like 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
I'm not old enough to remember that.
No, I'm trying to do the opposite of you guys. I'm trying to just jam 5-5s now. Like I just want to be rolling up to the Super Bowl wherever I'm watching it at on that Sunday and click on my stupid app and at least have like 3 teams in these dumb contests that are live to win me some money.
Davis, we need to shake you of this awful take that you like the Mahomes Brock Purdy start in these. This is an awful take.
No, I like legitimately, no sarcasm, think there are good game theory reasons for why that works.
I mean, think about the parlay you have to hit. First of all, you need
think about the parlay. No, this is I'm immediately shutting you down because think about the parlay you have to hit to win any of these. Immediately, you got to change the line of logic.
You're most likely taking a 0 at your second round pick in 3 rounds of this contest. You need Brock Purdy to outscore Mahomes at least 1 week, and then you're showing up to the Super Bowl with your Mahomes team, and someone's going to have Kittle or Debo there instead of your Brock Purdy, who's going to score 0 for you.
That's fine.
There's too much opportunity cost.
I'm completely fine with that because you're going to be competing against those teams anyway. Like if the Super Bowl is Kansas City, San Francisco, you're competing against those teams regardless of who you take in the second round. So what you're actually doing is you're actually deduping yourself between everyone else who just started their draft, Mahomes, McKinnon.
You're basically saying you're ready to go to war with your Noah Gray versus their Debo Samuel.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah. That's literally, and I think it's obviously not that much because you can end your draft with so many KC guys. Every time you do these, you can go Hardman, who may or may not, I mean, he may never play again, but you can go Hardman, Watson, Gray. You could take Rojo. I don't know if I'm deep enough in there to take Rojo yet, but that's the other reason that makes it work is that you can do Chiefs or you can do 49ers guys with your next 2 picks, whoever you want. You can throw an Eli Mitchell in there. You can have 4 49ers, and then you can end your draft with all Chiefs.
But you can do that same thesis with only 1 quarterback. What's the difference?
Right.
Well, so there are 2 differences. One being the Chiefs might lose and you could still have a 49ers team that is live in the Super Bowl. But the other thing is I think it juices your advance rate because then someone in your pool is like, shit, I took Christian McCaffrey and now I have to take Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence or whoever.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Or like someone gets hung out to dry if someone on the other side of the board goes.
Someone gets totally shut out. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's a dead Minshew team in there or insert backup quarterback.
Unironically, I think I don't know if it's plus EV, but I don't think it's bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just, man, to not have that firepower. Like when people were doing like the 2 quarterbacks now in these where they take Dak really late or ETN or Daniel Jones, like I don't mind it because the opportunity cost isn't that high. There's a huge cliff of ceiling talent there. Sure. But man, when you're passing up on a Debo, an Ayuk, a Kittle, these guys that could realistically drop 30, like to take a 0 multiple weeks just seems wrong.
I mean, you're gonna be taking 0s in these anyways because you're gonna draft guys for a team who's not playing anymore. Like it's the nature of these contests. You're not. How many teams are gonna get to the final round in any of these? I have capitulated to the Purdy slappies.
David, the call's coming from inside the house. Davis is now leading the Purdy slappies with this thing.
But here's the thing: how many teams? Let's say the Mitten returns again to electric Mitten Oogaloo, like we've really gone down this rabbit hole. How many teams? It's a 316 person final on this one, I believe. How many? What percentage of teams are going to have 10 live players
in the returns?
This one, this 22,000 person one right now. How many teams in the final are going to have 10 live players?
Less than 3%.
I was going to say less
nobody.
than 2%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you acknowledge that some of the players you're drafting are expected to give your starting lineup 0 points, that changes the calculation, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm not good at math, so maybe that's
Davis.
wrong.
I'm pro 5-5. I'm just not pro 5-5 with using it with both your first two picks.
The chat is 100% wrong though. They are getting this wrong because they're saying there will be teams that draft one quarterback and they're going to take a good player instead of Mahomes or Purdy, and you're going to be dead. But the reason why you guys are getting this wrong is, one, you're not competing with these people in your pod right there. You are deading one of the other teams in your initial pod. And then if you have 10 live players in the conference championship round, who cares if I'm losing 10 points or 15
I disagree
points
with
to a
that
Debo
premise
or
that
Kittle
you're
team.
deading the other pod, because they are also getting a huge flex leg up on you. They're starting with like a 20-point edge with their flex spot.
If it was 1-to-1, and that was true, like second round pick versus second round pick, but I have 5 guys, I'm going to have 8 skill position players to choose points from.
Yeah.
You might be a dog. Like if you add up the averages of those players and then you give your opponent the Kittle, the Debo, whoever, if you added up all those medians, you're probably a slight dog, but we're talking like a 40-60 dog or something like that.
So I think the hinge point for your strategy to work, in my opinion, Davis, is you need one of these 2 weeks where Brock Purdy massively outscores Kelsey or Mahomes, but the Chiefs still win.
But the Chiefs
and
win.
You wipe out all of the Mahomes teams.
I'm not saying I'm doing this every time, but the idea that this is like some brain dead strategy, it's your guys' third eyes are not open.
It feels like bully tight end in a regard, where it's like I'm gonna corner the market on premium tight ends to win my isolated league, and then when I push through, nobody else has this combo. Like the thesis feels similarly.
But with the tail benefits of having more unique combos in the round where the money really matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And less time to get to said round. Like you literally just need to win one football game.
Nez, welcome to the show. We're debating whether you could take Mahomes 101 and Brock Purdy with your second round pick, because the Brock Purdy discourse will never fucking end.
I'm out. I've been tilted one too many times with people taking Brock Purdy whenever I'm like stacking up this really sick like skill positions with my 49ers, and then like some donkey with Josh Allen or Mahomes. Like I need to like make sure I have insurance.
By the way,
on the best quarterback.
Unironically, I also think it's worse with I think you should not do this with the Bills, because you can't even guarantee your 8th, 9th, 10th round Bills are like gonna be on the field. I think it's a different value count.
If you're picking the back end wide receivers, I don't know who's going to be active in a week and a half. Like, what if you get Crowder back? What if Beasley pops? What if Isaiah McKenzie's dead in the water? Like,
what happened to Khalil? Are we just giving up on Khalil Shakir just like that? It's
already happened in the regular season. McKenzie missed the game. He had 3 for 60 and a touchdown, and he played 10 snaps the next week when McKenzie came back.
No, McKenzie's definitely like, it sucks. He's if he's healthy and he is going to play, like he definitely like usurps him. But man, I don't care. 10th round Shakir just feels so good.
The chat is driving me up a wall, Peter. These guys they got to open their third eye or they should stop drafting.
Third eye blind tickets on sale 2023. That's legit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll end it there. I am pro 5-5, but I have not done. I did a bunch of 5-5s in the second mittens and all that stuff, but just not in these divisional ones. It is very, very tough to do without diminishing returns. But Chiefs, Bills, maybe you can pull it off.
You're just taking McLeod or Spellcheck or Nyheim Hines or whatever to do it in these.
And my third eye literally just does not open that big. It does not.
That's more like 4th, 5th eye type stuff. Like that's like advanced.
Yeah. Maybe Davis unlocked an influencer super flex mitten 69 contest that he's playing in that we didn't know.
It just feels like we all just spent like the last 2 weeks being like, oh yeah, the idea is you want to have like lower owned combos in the rounds where the money counts. But then when someone is like, here's like a strategy not many people are doing that actually like boosts X, Y, or Z, and everyone's like, nope, that'll never win.
Not that way. Like
I mean, Dave, I truly hope. I mean, if a Brock Mahomes team ships any of these contests, I mean, I'm never going to.
Well, we all know it won't be me because I've only drafted 18 divisional returns teams or whatever.
Oh, dude,
you're slacking.
They get dry fast. Like you do 18 of them, and like at this point, you've seen every single draft. It's hard to galaxy brain a winner here. I don't know if. Davis, I don't know if you know, but I did happen to win one of these Mitten Returns Again Part 6 last year. So, if you're looking for...
I am. I need the championship ring. I unironically need that in my life.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't wear this out in public because, with all these diamonds, like, I don't want to get, like, jumped or anything. But, yeah, it's pretty nice. I got this before Liam got his. Liam actually had to request his ring.
That's good. That's very good from Underdog. I love that from them.
They know to respect the king.
Davis, if you got one of those rings, would you have a profile picture that was flaunting that?
Can't jeopardize
because
it.
Crane literally won $2 million. Like, we can't be flexing winning the Mitten Returns Again Part 7. Like, that's the whole issue.
David, you're minus 800 to put winner of Mitten Returns Again 2 in your bio if you ship it. I guarantee.
So here's the thing. I think the more, like, if it was like I won the Mitten, yes. If you win the Mitten Returns Again 2, I don't think that can go in the bio. I think you can put.
Have you seen Liam's updated profile?
I can't
even like follow it because it's like it sounds like binary code. Best ball BBM2 2021 DK 555 and DK 21202022.
He's dead serious. Amazing. He's dead ass.
No, I mean that Liam should flex that.
This is the king of best ball right here. This man.
You may not like it, but that's what it looks like.
I did like his Swolecast photo.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is who takes your money in the best ball streets, everyone.
I mean, good for him, man. Good for him. A loyal fan of the Swolecast. We love to see it.
Yeah. Well, I definitely want to do a couple playoff drafts. Might as well do it since we're talking about it right here. Let's hop in a gauntlet, and then we can talk a little Royale.
Should we do a Mahomes Purdy start?
I mean,
for the bit,
thank God
if we can roll it.
Oh my
controlling
God.
the 1-2s here.
I'm putting a target on my back.
Davis, do you have a lean this weekend on? We've been talking about the KC pass catchers quite a bit with Hardman being ruled out. Do you have a lean in any regard? Like, is it giving Andy Reid too much credit that Tony's gonna ball?
I mean, that's the copium is like that. That's the one you take just because, like, if you get that right, he's like a really good play. The lean I've kind of been doing is they're just sick of MVS's shit. They're like, dude, you're so bad. Like, we need to play Justin Watson a little bit more. But I also, the other thing is they've just started to rotate these guys like crazy. Like even Juju now, like they're like no one's playing more than 70% of the snaps. So I think 5 dudes probably play.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It becomes a really hard, like on such a short slate and such like a thin slate, it becomes really hard to like mix and match your back end Mahomes stacks. If you don't roll that Mahomes Kelsey at the front end or like Mahomes McKinnon, it becomes really interesting conversation for the Battle Royale stuff. If we just want to run like naked Mahomes this week, or if we just want to, back end dart throws on, I've been kind of in the same vein as you talking up Justin Watson.
Is Tony free in the Battle Royale?
They're basically all free, to be honest. Like Juju's free too.
In the BRs, yeah. Not in these. In these, obviously, like they come at a, but they're affordable. I will say, like getting, like you can, if you take Mahomes, you have the option to get your Tony, your MVS, and even Hardman goes pretty late, which is nice because you have 4 weeks until the Super Bowl. If you're betting on the Chiefs, you have 4 weeks.
Star Purdy, Pete.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's go.
There's no way. There's no way we go through with this, right? We're just having a little fun right now.
Imagine if this is the shipper.
Dude, if TTP lets Brock Purdy follow us, I guess we have to hammer it. I want to do this so I could just show Davis what a shit team we build.
Okay.
That's well, fine. So the key, no, but this is the key thing though, is you don't want to be competing. You want to see if it's possible to slip McKinnon through again. So you got to see what the NFC drafters do. So you got to see what the McCaffrey and the Hurts team do. because you want to have like a random McKinnon slippage be live.
This McCaffrey guy thinks, oh, Brock's definitely coming back to me in the third. Allen Mahomes rosters. Well, buddy, I'm on stream with Davis fucking Mattek.
Yes. No
So Kelsey's gone. So this guy, Jabiristad, he's gonna take McKinnon with his next pick.
Shabiristad.
Son of a bitch! Damn it!
Okay, so we're taking.
Let's build out
McKinnon.
NFC Debo.
Yeah, do you want Debo or Devonta?
Devonta.
Either or.
Give me skinny AJ Brown.
I like that.
They're the same. They're the same picture.
Same dude.
Or same, you know what I mean?
Who weighs more, Tyler the Creator or Devonta Smith?
I don't know. I thought Tyler the Creator was taller than I expected.
Tyler the Creator probably is like stronger than Devonta Smith.
McKinnon or Miles Sanders?
McKinnon.
McKinnon. Yeah.
Because we're gonna get Boston Scott later because he always scores a touchdown.
Because he always scores against.
This is the wide receiver,
the
wide receiver one, and as a green player.
Look at Samuel's snipe job on the end there. You know, Paul's setting up for that comfy burrow, and one of them come back to me, and he just double takes Bengals receivers.
Yeah, that
Love
bubble.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now this is a diss calling Devonta tall tutu.
Whoa. Come on now.
He's not that good.
So we do have the dynamic where we have one other team right now going for the exact same Super Bowl matchup as us, which is always not quite.
Wow,
a great time.
original start TTP. Where do you get your ideas?
I think like in these drafts, the backstacking Giants is like the new backstacking Jags. It's just
good take.
Yeah.
I'm just always there. I have like 60% Daniel Bellinger, and I could throw up just thinking about it.
Yeah. Although Barkley feels a little bit like Eckler did in the initial gauntlet contest, where he's starting to get steamed up, and sometimes you just have to settle for the pass catchers. I think we could play for 2 if we want to do Ayuk or
we go Ayuk,
or we could do the Giants thing. Well, we have Eagles.
That's a bad idea. The Giants are not going to win.
Yeah, and I don't love the matchup for Barkley this week either.
You guys like the Ayuk thing?
I like it better.
I like Ayuk because then if we want to reach, the thing is now is like if we want a second 49er, do you want Juwan Jennings or do you want Elijah Mitchell?
Mitchell.
100%.
I kind of like Pacheco here and pairing the KC running backs.
I agree just because running back falls off so quick in these.
Incredibly quick.
Yeah. The only other thing I would consider would be Pollard, because there are other Cowboys available and you could make yourself live for a few different Super Bowl matchups.
Yeah, we can take Gallup late though for a Cowboy if we want to do a 4 Chief and then have
all right.
A bunch
so Pollard
of
or Pacheco, what do you guys want?
Pacheco if it's between those two.
Okay.
Pacheco.
Tony seems to be falling in these drafts. Maybe that changes now with like McCole Hardman's status, but Tony had been falling for like a minute in these things where like he's the lag piece at the top of ADP.
Yeah. Yeah. Jira's building out similar ideas, although I don't love, I'd rather go Singletary, I think, in his build instead of Pollard and play that other AFC running back opposite of the Hurts build.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of in these a 4 Bengal, 4 Bill with 2 NFC guys?
Say that again.
Feels really bad.
4 Bills, 4 Bengals, and then pin the tail on an NFC guy.
I think I'd be like max 2 Oppo divisional round opponent.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now, max 2. But those ones I think
I'm just getting bored because I've just been doing been doing some weird shit in these.
That's what I'm saying. Like after you do like 10, it's like God. Like I've seen every combination play out. The weirdest thing for me is how affordable these Cowboys are every single draft.
Yeah,
we got to do MVS.
We got to do MVS here. Yeah.
For the combos, bro. Now we have some
MVS.
optionality with positions later on for our NFC guys.
Is this
Who
like,
are you mocking
is
here?
this,
Do you
is
mind
this
just
Davis
letting me
doing a
know?
Davis? I'm so
No, I'm trying right now. I'm trying to be the chat where I'm just like, yeah. Obviously, bro, you got to have a lineup for the Super Bowl.
Yo, I don't mind that click whatsoever. The Christian Kirk as
Kirk
like a
bring back?
one-off bring back, yeah. Or you can wait and do it with Zay Jones, but I don't.
I
really
like
see
Gallup.
anything
I like
else.
Gallup more because that gives us another NFC option, and then we can have when our fourth
Okay.
chief is like that leaves us live to every Super Bowl matchup with at least one guy.
I think if I was going to do the
oh, go ahead.
if I was going to do the Dallas thing, I would have done Zeke and just played it all through the run game with no correlated points, and then just shut off running back at 3. If I was going to go for the Dallas avenue, like opposed to like Gallup factoring in and getting through. I don't know. He's always correlated with the Dak owner, or
I kind of like the max too. If you are using 2 from the same backfield, though, too, of just being like, we need Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We're gonna be getting, 10, 11 points minimum from one of this spot, and then just trusting we can get enough firepower elsewhere.
Yeah, that's fair.
But and the thing about the bring back too, the only reason I think I would have clicked Kirk there too with you, John, although when all 3 of the Jags pieces were on the board, maybe for your bring back, you don't feel the need to be the first one to go. But then we do see Ingram and Kirk both go.
The honest to God though, Zay Jones across like all the blended projections and stuff, like he's neck and neck with Christian Kirk this week anyways.
Yeah, their props are all like really similar. They're all
it's real tight.
All in line with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. TTP is probably going to snake us on Zay.
Yeah, run
or at
double.
least they should. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Zay goes. So what do we want to do here?
I like an NFC running back.
But it's great. I mean, you want Boston Scott?
Yeah, it is
Which
Boston
one?
Scott.
That's the issue. Is like theoretically you'd like an NFC running back, but we miss Eli Mitchell.
I don't.
We could really use Zeke right now.
Thank you.
I think we
Pete.
should do Slayton or James.
I think so too.
Yeah, Slayton.
If we had invested more in the Eagles, maybe we need to swerve that. But with just Devonta, I think we can keep hitting these one-offs.
Yeah.
The chat's right. This team is begging out for Kyle Juszczyk.
People are actually out there clicking Kyle Juszczyk.
I didn't realize his nickname was spell check. That's good.
I think we
would
take
rather
a
draft Jordan Mason.
Chiefs wide receiver, NFC running back.
I disagree, Pete. I'd rather draft Juszczyk.
Hardman,
Really?
Hardman will be
Just-
healthy for the Super Bowl, right? Like it's 4 weeks from now.
I mean, he got hurt in week 9, dude.
I know.
Marvin
but
Jones run back.
Yeah, let's do the Marvin. We can
All right.
punt the
I
last
forgot. I literally forgot Sky Moore existed. We've been on stream for an hour and a half, and I've not said his name yet.
Off the injury report.
Yo,
Everyone's
Davis,
talking
what's your read on CEH? Like, obviously, he's not playing this weekend. Do you think he gets activated in the next couple weeks? Yeah.
No. I think the ship done sailed on Clyde's career in Kansas City. I think they'll just keep Ronald Jones active. Like if he does get activated, it would not be surprising if he was the healthy scratch instead of Rojo.
Right.
At which point, why even activate? Right.
I don't know. And maybe they like him. I don't know. Maybe he's like a good locker. I don't know shit about him. Maybe they like him in the locker room or something.
Mm-hmm.
This right here is why Davis doesn't need Jerick McKinnon with Mahomes, because he knows he has all of these guys.
No, I mean, think about the leverage. Think about the leverage you're setting up, though, because if Pacheco outscores McKinnon the next 3 weeks, like you've deaded so many teams.
So how are we ranking these? If we're saying Hardman's dead, I mean, the real ranking should probably be what?
I mean, no one's taking Noah Gray but me.
I can't do Noah Gray. I cannot do it.
Watson or Sky?
I think Watson.
Why?
Right. Why does Watson feel like?
Yeah.
Why does he feel like he's emerging? It's the grossest thing ever.
He only has 15 catches on the year.
Yeah, I know. And now he's like seeing the field.
Okay.
He's glorified Quez Watkins, and it's awesome.
Glorified.
Where are the big boys? Let's do a Big Mitten before we do Royales.
All right.
Oh, how rich. I love it.
Come play.
Now this one is you would not need to do Purdy Mahomes here. You don't need to get that
when
weird
the chips get raised. We're not doing Noah Gray with Brock
No,
Purdy?
because in this size of contest, it's not nearly as necessary.
All right. I can't wait to argue this one out. Oh, and not even okay. We do get crutches in here. I don't know if anyone else is. Oh, we got player
Neil
cues.
or
That
Field.
Neil.
Yeah, that's him.
All right.
Where's your favorite spot to draft in these? Because I don't think the 101 is my favorite at all.
No, you want 3 so you can
Yeah.
get whichever one of the quarterbacks is there.
Yeah. That's what feels the absolute.
Have you
best.
guys found this interesting that Dak Prescott is like sometimes like doesn't go into the 8th round in these?
Yeah.
And he's a 4-point dog. Joe Burrow is a 5.5-point dog, and he's the 5th pick.
It feels like it's like so obvious, right? It's like, why are we not just taking all these Cowboys, or why aren't we waiting to take Dak Prescott?
It's because the market is saying the Bengals are going to beat the Bills or beat the Chiefs next week, but the Cowboys can't possibly beat the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't get it, and to me, it feels like the Bengals are going to get just shit stomped. I'm getting that. I don't know.
No, I like them, but I hate the Bills because of Liam.
Yeah, that's why I can't fade Liam anymore. It's just like it is what it is. It's his world. We're living in it. Just take the Bills.
I had a reply I wanted to jump in when you guys were arguing about Brett Maher, where I wanted to say Liam thinks that the Bills drafted Tyler Bass specifically because he could kick field goals in the windstorm. You guys want to do CMC?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
If we get sniped on Purdy, I swear to God.
Honestly, in this room, I'm thinking 3rd round Purdy.
I'm thinking if Purdy comes back to us, we definitely let it go.
It's 3rd round or no round.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because none of these guys are going to do Mahomes Purdy, obviously.
You want to know how much we stayed in our lane last time I did the Big Mitten on stream, or not? It wasn't on stream. We just did it like in the Discord when like you guys and Paul, we all hopped in. Brock Purdy didn't even get drafted because both the Mahomes and Allen drafters, the buy was still up in the air, and so everyone just stayed in their lane.
Oh,
wow, Philly, Philly.
Hey, we spent $250 though. GGs.
Yo,
so now we have a
one
one-off CMC to build a Cowboys.
Dude,
team?
Burrow CMC's
Burrow CMC's way better. Yeah.
Burrow.
Dude, that's wild.
Well, I
should we have
think
taken
we should have
Chase
taken Chase. Yeah.
Fuck, you're right.
We got excited.
Yeah, we fucked that up, and by we I mean me clicking the button.
Yeah.
What if Higgins out?
Chat not helpful per usual. Instead, waiting until the pick went in to be like, obviously you guys should have taken Chase.
Well, here, let's see here because we're building
Chase
out double Eagles. I don't know. Do you want Chase with an Allen team as a run back? I don't know. Maybe not, right?
Neil is just like counting
positive
his money
vibes,
right now.
man. Positive vibes.
Neil's taking Chase.
Player Q.
Oh, the one-off Chase.
Yeah.
I think this is a Kittle team.
I think we just threw a wrench in this entire draft. This is actually going to work in our favor.
Yeah, I think we should take T. Higgins.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can go Kittle or Higgins and then hope one of Mixon or Kittle come back. But Kittle's definitely not coming back because of Purdy on the end. So if you want Kittle, it's now or never.
Yeah. I think we do,
but it's up to
Kittle
you.
and see. Yeah, because you have I guess Philly could double tap Higgins Mixon, but he already has Brock.
But he already has,
You
Brock,
should take
that's
Ayuk with one of these.
He's like Davis and James Cook all the way. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm inceptioning him.
This Brock Purdy drafter.
A draft within a draft within a draft.
Brock makes everyone drunk.
It's going to be so awesome when he scores like 10 points next week. Like it's.
I mean, how dumb is everyone going to feel when the Cowboys beat them?
Right? The one thing that scares me about Cowboys is 4th straight road game and shortest week of all teams. That's one, like, I don't know if it matters at all.
What
I don't know
about
how you
what about a
quantify that,
7th-round
but
rookie starting a divisional playoff
Yeah,
game against the
yeah,
biggest
yeah.
team in the sport next? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that feels
With
like
Micah
a lot.
Parsons.
Yeah, the best pass rush in football right now. Like,
Man, Philly really bleeding this clock. This fucker.
Fucking asshole.
What is this guy doing?
I mean, Mixon's not terrible, and then it's a 2 running
we gotta
back
take
team, and you
Mixon.
have
Yeah.
one from either side. And then at least there's auxiliary pass catchers we can fall back on, like Hayden Hurst and Tyler Boyd. Like,
Yeah,
Tyler
don't
Boyd's
forget
a-
Irwin,
This
baby.
team absolutely begging for a Trent Irwin spike week in the Super Bowl.
Dude, Higgins over Gabe on that build is egregious.
That is bad.
I agree.
We're allowed to say that.
No, he's setting it up for
What's he setting up, Davis?
He's setting it up for 3 49ers, and then he's going to take 2 Bengals and 2 Bills. That's fine.
I do not like using that much capital. Like, just do if you want to do that build, do it, but do it with Boyd and get Gabe Davis. You want more of your
You guys are
leverage.
too worried about dead teams, bro. Like, who cares? But if he just happens to get this team through because he gets lucky with pods, he's going to have a good combo there that is not super duped.
You're gonna be
A
going
4th
against
round
better
rocket
teams next
booster. I don't know.
The interesting conversation with builds with this is, like, with Big Mitten is relative to, like, your entire portfolio, like how many you're building.
Right. Yeah.
If he's building one team, this is a bad way to do it. If he's maxing this contest, okay, fine. Right.
Boyd.
I don't think we can risk Boyd going to this side of the drunk board.
Correct.
Yeah, he wants no part of Dawson Knox. He wants Tyler Boyd here all the way.
Yeah.
Another thing, if we don't completely turn off the button yet, is Elijah Mitchell and pairing him with CMC and being like flex weeks for like goal line usage and stuff like that, because he's more appealing than like Jawan Jennings, Trenton Irwin, that kind of thing. Just a thought.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
We can also mix in a third team.
Right. So it would be, we could mix in, we don't have, I guess it would have to be, I would prefer to not do any more running backs with CMC mixing.
It would have to be Jags.
But Eli Mitchell is the only other 49er who like can get 10 fantasy points.
That's a good point.
Mr. Noah Gray, man, we can draft Jawan Jennings.
I think Eli Mitchell is like a huge favorite to score more fantasy points than Jawan Jennings if the 49ers do in fact make the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, and he's like a 10-point favorite on a touchdown prop going into a Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
Like, what's Elijah to score a touchdown?
I think
in the
I'm
Super Bowl, like 1 to 4 or something?
What do you guys want?
I want Mitchell.
I think I'm Mitchell. On a 250 team, I think Mitchell here.
All right.
Catching balls in the red zone.
Think about Pete.
We're so
7
far
red
behind
zone.
Close
at
your
wide
eyes.
receiver right now. Like, it's absurd.
That's why, and now we just take wide receivers the rest of the way.
Well, I wanted
Richie
to do that.
James will be there.
Yeah.
Slayton. We just need one. We probably just need to pick a rabbit out of the hat in terms of spike weeks.
Oh yeah.
I think I would have preferred Evan Ingram to Schultz anyways,
Why is that?
just because you have a path to 2 games with him.
Yeah,
Why don't you have a path to 2 games?
because we're building Niners.
Yeah.
Because we're building.
Yeah, that's
Niners.
fair. And if Ingram has a slightly higher ceiling this week anyways, and Ingram goes, man, we need fucking ceiling here. Do you want to do, we could do Zay, Hodgins.
Hodgins has like a giga ceiling.
Or do we just lock up Hurst here and not fuck around?
I think
Hurst.
you Hurst. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't trust these fuckers.
Well, there goes Hodgins. So,
God, I hate this team.
Oh, this team is great. I don't know what you're talking about. This is a fantastic team.
Yeah, Peter, this is like pretty close to GTO.
Kareem's taking $2 million off the table while I punt it back to the stakeholders.
That's why you'll always be the man of the people.
That's right. Use promo code Pete. God knows I need it.
Imagine they put Kareem in their commercials and give him his own promo code in the offseason. Can you imagine?
Promo code Rojo.
Promo code Daily Rojo.
No, wait till it's Settlement and Cray doing the commercials together. The reviews are coming in, guys.
That's the Gauntlet champion. The 2020. What year did Chris G win the Gauntlet?
I mean, do we even
First
count?
year, there was 30 people in it.
Do we even count the first year, bro?
Pre-explosion, like
these were like 60-person tournaments.
They drafted their teams on fax machines.
Yeah, this is like we're talking about the World Series of Poker pre and post moneymaker. Like,
yeah, sorry, Phil Hellmuth. No one cares about your 1989 win against 4 other players.
Like, congrats.
Your 9 Stewie Younger bracelets.
Winning the 2019 Gauntlet is like winning the 1988 Deuce to 7, like no limit hold'em.
There we go.
This 1985 Raz bracelet.
50 more of these, and we can cover this punt. God! Of course
that was the best piece left too.
Do we take the $2 million tout here with Slayton?
Yeah, Slayton.
Yeah, we're definitely taking Slayton.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the Eagles get upset because they will get upset.
With no Eagles and nothing here, you could also entertain this team as 2 quarterback and take Vanilla Vic on the way back too.
Just in case.
I say we take
It's
Richie
a hedge,
James
but...
and then if D Dimes comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't we need the ceiling at flex more though?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the ceiling you get at flex in the 10th round or the night is.
Hey, Bellinger can get 12.
Oh, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in on Danny B. Don't preach to the choir.
I hate this. This is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be just like time to all celebrate. Great best ball.
Hey,
play.
it's fine, dude. When you're done, you can go hang on to your crying daughter and draft in the Mitten returns. Strike back of the Mitten.
No, my mom is taking care of that, so I could draft these in the privacy of my own office.
Yeah.
Rick James, it is.
There we go. That is good. Like
we're back on track, boys. We're back on track.
We will get 13 from one of those 2 guys.
Oh,
we're gonna need 30 from one of those 2 guys to advance.
I mean, Leone had Richie James projected for 13.7 last week.
God, what do I need to name this video? 200K Big Mitten draft. You won't believe what happened next.
I'll get the thumbnail face going.
All right. Dude, are we Trenton Irwining this? I feel like that's the only way to finish this fucking draft.
What if T. Higgins getting injured and Trenton Irwin scoring 3 touchdowns in a game again is what you need to win the Big Mitten returns?
I love drafting both slot wide receivers on the Bengals.
Well, here's the thing: like our Cincy wideouts are ass, and we have Joe Mixon. So if it's not a Joe Burrow game, does Danny Dimes still there? Or because that's what I'm trying to pitch here.
Yeah. What if Jimmy Garoppolo with 4 backup Bengals is what you need to win the Big Mitten?
I think you need points, like raw points, to get through.
Yeah, I agree.
Marv, I think you need Marv.
Where are you getting those from? With what's left?
Marvin. I mean, hey, Jamal Agnew
Marv's
doesn't play. Marvin Jones.
Marv's got it.
Because we only need 2. Because we're flexing. Like the idea is that McCaffrey's RB1, and then we're probably going to flex Joe Mixon ideally. If not, then that's a lot of trouble. And then look at our wideouts that we just need. I mean, yeah, it's not pretty, but I don't know, man. If you were giving me a vote, if this was a DAO, my vote would be Danny Dimes.
Hey, I had good success.
We'd be under.
I had good success in a fantasy DAO this year, so I think Marvin Jones is probably the right advance rate play.
I think I agree. Man, what did
Marvin
these other
Jones'
teams?
mean projection is 1 point, but
can we talk? I mean.
His ETR.
Sean going to projections.
Yeah,
Dude,
well, I mean, just for this
Rich.
week to decide. Yeah, I don't know.
Who's Philly Phantom, dude? Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Honestly, Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, dude, it's fine. He finished it. He finished up. He didn't even have 4 49ers. We gotta do another one. Not
another
a
Big Mitten.
Leave them with $3 left in the account.
Let's do a gauntlet. We gotta wash the taste out of our mouths.
I just want to review a couple of these other things here. Everyone else seemed to mostly stay in their lane, draft decent teams. This Philly guy, Lord give me. Hey God, this actually reminds me. Did you see the guy that wrote to Crutches on Twitter, John?
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, I saw it last night.
Did you see this, Davis? I gotta show you this, man. This is why everyone's asking for for a chat room on Underdog. Let's see if I can find it. Crutches
only the cabal has access to the chat room.
Dude, look at this. Crutches is doing a draft. You draft like a bitch. And then he blocks. And I'm looking at this board and I can't even tell what Crutches did that upset him so much.
So he started Kelsey, McKinnon.
He took Tony, probably. It was the Tony pick.
It's the Tony pick for his. I mean, but what about this is block worthy?
Yeah.
I can't tell.
That's pretty good. I mean, am I so old now that people don't remember like when FanDuel used to have a chat room? Like, does anyone
yeah, you could like poo. Well, I remember draft. You could like
Blake Griffin's out. Blake Griffin's out, but he wouldn't actually be out.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
I think the underdog emote thing would be sweet. Like some of those like Asian poker apps have like where you can like fling emotes and stuff. I think PokerStars has it now too, actually. But I turn them off. But you can just fling them and stuff. It'd be awesome if you could just fling a couple shits at your buddy, like or someone who sniped you or whatever. So fun.
Even like Get Playback kind of had that too, where you could put like when someone was talking, you could put like a flame or an ice reaction to it. And even just having a few of those things was pretty fun because you'd just be like, stop fucking giving me these cold takes reactions. It just drives you nuts.
It's very, very tilting.
Davis, you want to do what? I do want to talk a little Battle Royale, but you want to get this taste out of our mouth with a gauntlet?
Yeah, I don't have the brain capacity to dedicate to Divisional Round Battle Royale. I mean, we can do one.
We'll do one more gauntlet, then we'll do a couple royales and get out of here.
Sounds good. That's fair.
All right. What influencer 101? We got Spags here. Trent Bow, who is a notorious thorn in drafters' sides in these, and we got Chris G.
Well, okay, is this a Battle Royale or a gauntlet?
Gauntlet. This is gauntlet.
Mahomes Purdy?
Damn it.
We've yet to let Purdy if he makes it all the way back.
Yeah, he's yet to come back, you know?
Yeah, Trent's an issue. He's like half like robotic, automated auto draft, like half just like the most vengeful, spiteful drafter I've ever seen.
We think he's going to take Purdy at the 2-1 to keep us from doing it?
He will.
This guy's, definitely considering it.
I had a redacted tweet with him, and everyone knew exactly who it was. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's Trent B, that son of a bitch!" Like, guys, I'm not trying to pile on and find this guy, but if anyone does have his address, let me know.
Yeah, there you go. I remember this tweet.
Ned's just been protecting the innocent. What do we want to do? Let's do something fun.
Let's do Mahomes. I like Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's the MVP. He's got the best matchup this week. He's the GOAT.
Because he's so fun to stack, right? Because we have all these awesome stack partners to pick with Mahomes. That's why
I'm telling you guys, first play on Saturday morning.
Just give it a rest, John.
They're looking at their draft boards. It's going play action. Justin Watson, 65 yards to start the game off, and everybody's gonna be ripping up their DK lineups. And I'm gonna be like,
not me, not this guy.
Yeah, me and David at the top of the chart.
Let's see. I wonder how much in the drafts I got through. I wonder how much Watson I have.
Oh my god,
not enough.
And yes, Neil is saying, isn't that exactly what happened? Yes. Where do you get your ideas, John? From the exact game that he just watched.
Actually, I didn't advance any Justin Watson in my OG mittens, so I gotta uncosign that.
You got any live ones? Are you looking good?
I drafted like 47% Dalton Schultz, so I got a bunch of extra teams.
Yeah, I saw you touting that on Twitter. That was
they're
nice.
here's the thing, they're all gonna die if the Cowboys lose this week, which they probably will. So it's very false hope.
Yeah, that's all right. You got your money back.
I was definitely like addicted to doing all these return drafts. And I think that Big Mitten broke me where I'm just over it now.
Brock Purdy, McKinnon already went. There's no other logical partner.
You want to do Devonta Sanders, Kittle,
No,
IU?
Purdy Kittle, dude. Easy game.
I'm not doing Purdy. I'm drawing the line there.
It's double Philly or if you want to go like the Dallas route.
It's sad. Peter just doesn't. He's just not. He doesn't want to win.
My heart's not in it anymore.
Yeah, you
We're
literally
going
like
through the motions.
Corain and Trent have just deaded. We got nothing left. We got nothing in the tank.
How much is up top in the Big Mitten? How much of a dent would that have put in the
75?
75,000.
Less
than 5% there.
Less than 5%. I mean,
It's 40. It's 40.
I did the math, and if I won every playoff contest I entered, I wouldn't have even gotten to 15% of the way. That's including like the NFFC. Oh, Pete, we gotta fix. We gotta.
We do.
We gotta do.
How
our
did we do
NFFC
round
team.
one? I don't even remember what
we had Metcalf, so not bad.
Let's fucking go, baby. What was his? How many teams had him? What percentage?
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
Spags, what's he got going?
So Touch of Green did the smart thing and knew we wouldn't take his Purdy, so he gets his
third round
Niners
Purdy.
onslaught. That's Spags taking Dak early.
Oh, another thing that we did that was just stupid is like Mahomes, Devonta, Miles Sanders has to maybe be the most common start in these.
Yeah,
So-
That's just, when you're on stream, you try to get you got to get creative.
I gave you guys the key to the kingdom, and no one wanted it.
He drew a hard line.
Still don't.
If that's the kingdom, I'd rather be in hell, Davis.
Actually, that's one thing that I forgot to ask the other day when Corain was on with us, that I wanted to ask if he thinks sweats are ruined for the rest of his life, and I forgot to. Because, like, how do you ever come back from, like, a milli sweat? Like, I don't know if he was a big, like, gambler before that, to be honest. Like, he's a best ball guy, but, like, how do you come back from a milli sweat, like 2 milli sweat for, like, you can't just put, like, a couple thousand on a game this weekend or something and feel anything.
Fuck. Dude, Chris, draft logically and let us get the fucking double whammy NFC. Chris, don't be a little bitch.
Fuck.
I think we should still take Ayuk.
Sure. Ayuk Pacheco is
because Lord knows I'm not giving Chris both Ayuk and Kittle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so this becomes a Justin Watson, Noah Gray double.
Yeah, unless you think like Tony expanded role, blah blah blah, but Pacheco makes the most sense, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I like taking Pacheco because then you set yourself up with more optionality in having live lineups in the Super Bowl because you know you at least have quarterback, running back, wide receiver covered in any AFC outcome or any NFC outcome.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Wow, Chris is just waving the white towel.
No way.
Just because, Chris, you could have taken Devonta Smith. You didn't have to take Jerick McKinnon there.
Yeah.
You got cute, bud. Too cute.
That don't make sense.
That's on you, Chris.
There are so many drafts that you feel that way, though. Like where it's like you take Jalen Hurts at the second, and then all of a sudden AJ Brown and Devonta go at the other side of the board, and you just feel like you're kind of like, oh, this lineup's dead already, and you just go on autopilot.
You're telling me what that feels like when I just experienced it about 4 minutes ago, Josh?
Yeah, for 10x this one.
Yeah.
If you forgot.
Do you think I can't even remember. Does Underdog roll these out for the conference championship going forward?
They did not. They did not last year.
Dude,
guaranteed they do it this year. Guaranteed it'll be
something.
I want to say 6-round draft probably with quarterback 2 flex or something like that.
We'll call it the mothball.
No, they'll call it the last call saloon.
They'll say you are mentally ill. Here you go, you savages.
Oh, Willis dunking all over my ass in the chat.
Pete, our NFFC team actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are our key decisions we have to make this week?
So we have to replace 2 wide receivers, a flex, and kicker. So we basically are like, okay, so we're going to add Devonta or AJ Brown.
Mm-hmm.
We got to add a Chief, and then we have to decide, do we want to add a Bill and a Bengal, or play it like one of those teams win and only add one of them, and then do like a soft fade and take a guy we expect to lose, like a Giant or something.
How aggressive do we need to get with our standing here? So let's do MVS. Any other suggestions here?
I like Elijah Mitchell again.
I know, man. I keep coming back to him, but
Yeah, that sets us up for a 5-man. We'll have a 5-man team for Kansas City, San Francisco, and Kansas City, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Now we can have some fun.
And Elijah Mitchell, like 7 red zone touches last week.
You guys love Eli Mitchell. That's what I'm starting to learn.
I
think it's Nez. He dreams about him in his sleep.
He's just logical for this contest format because he's got a ton of contingent value. If anything happens to McCaffrey, the 49ers are going to be favored in all their remaining games except for the Super Bowl. Yeah, like it just and the like he should be more expensive than Zeke, and probably like if you include future value, he probably projects for more points in these than Barkley. It's just Barkley will score more points this week.
Probably.
Let's see. What are we doing? What's our guy Trent doing? Wow, Trent building.
Staying in his lane.
I mean, the Singletary bring back on the Bengals onslaught is kind of interesting.
What if he does what I was just talking about, the Cincinnati Buffalo 5-5, and he's going to end it with 5 Bills now? I guess he doesn't have Josh Allen. I did this the other day with Allen and Burrow. It just happened.
You got Allen Burrow?
Yeah. So I was like, I'm just going to do this just because it'll be a super unique combo.
Who were the back end like Bills you were adding? Like, did you add like Quentin Morris or something like that? Naheem Hines? Like it was.
Well, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I took Shakir, I know, and I know Irwin was my last pick, so I probably took John Brown or Cole Beasley.
Yeah,
love it. Then he goes Isaiah Hodgins. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's doing. He didn't want to continue. I mean, at that point, don't you just rip Hayden Hurst? Like,
Hayden Hurst feels good when you have Burrow. I love taking Hayden Hurst.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, when Hayden Hurst is the best pass catcher on your Burrow stack, you're feeling real good.
He's just Noah Gray on the Bengals.
Wow, that is
God. Put some respect on former first round pick Hayden Hurst.
Former first round drafted over Lamar Jackson by his own team.
Drafted over Mark Andrews. Drafted over Mark Andrews.
Trent, what does Trevor Lawrence do for this team, bud?
I don't hate that because that puts you in the good parts of the game tree too, where if you miraculously get through, but Burrow only gets 17 or something, but Trevor
Go
Lawrence
hang out in Trent's
24.
Discord, Davis. You guys deserve each other.
No, dude, you guys, Pete, you've lost love for the game. Like your third eye, your third eye has not been open. We've been talking for 2 hours, and I've been trying to creak open your third eye, and it won't happen.
Gland is shut.
Creak open. Do you guys think Hardman plays at all?
I think we're now safer taking Watson or
I think we can
whoever.
do Quez though. Get a second
definitely.
or third Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we might need some
points. On the
points.
straight and narrow.
If we need some points, we should take Slayton or Richie James.
I know, and I keep going back to that. Just I don't know if I'm just a donkey.
Let's just take Richie James because there'll be a cheap player regardless for us to take in round 10.
Richie James slot matchup this week.
Is that what the DVP bros are saying?
That's what the DVP bros. With what's that guy's name? I can't remember. Avonte Maddox. Yeah.
All right, and we're back to this is Davis, is this like your version of heaven? Is just every single last pick having to decide between Sky Moore, Justin Watson, and Noah Gray? Because this is my hell.
Again, unironically, I think this is probably like the only edge that exists in these is if you figured out which one of these Chiefs was the best, who would score them. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know which one of these guys is going to score the most points. But the fact that you can get a guy who, if the Chiefs make the Super Bowl, is, for a fact, if he doesn't get hurt, he's going to be playing. I mean, that is not true of any of these other teams. Not true of the Bills, not true of the Eagles, not true of the 40. It's not true of any of these teams that you can get a guy who's going to be on the field.
Yeah.
Maybe Cowboys, but that's only because they're suppressed. Because you could take Noah Brown or T.Y. Hilton.
Sure, but their Super Bowl odds are like 1/4 of the Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Point holds.
I think we might have to do, Sky Moore on this one just to feel a little something. You got a Rand function.
You're gonna let Pat Carrain rug you all summer on Sky Moore and then draft him on the stream.
No, this is how we get back, because Pat won $2 million with my pet player Tyquan Thornton, and now it's time for me to get even with Sky
That's
Moore.
True.
That's a great point.
I mean, but $75K paid out 5 ways. I mean, they should. There's no point. I don't even want to win.
I'm coming for mine.
1099s just sounds absurd.
Winner of the gauntlet returns again to put it in the bio.
No,
co-champion.
Yeah. Wait, what is going on? Who's taking Sky Moore? Chris, that's just not even a funny bit, dude.
Spags took Noah Gray.
I
He's
dare
laughing
to
so
take
hard.
Justin Watson. I dare you. We will find a chief. There's a million of them.
Jody Fortson?
Yes. I mean, all of these guys are live. What's the difference between Blake Bell and Noah Gray? Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself what's
Blake
the difference.
Bell has scored a touchdown more recently than Noah Gray. There's your difference.
Is Marcus Kemp a baseball player?
No, he's not active. Marcus Kemp.
No fucking way.
Man. It's got to be Blake Bell. It's got to be Blake Bell.
Yeah, Blake Bell.
Oh my.
You're lucky we said we were
crazy.
going to talk about Battle Royale, because that would have been a walk-off pick. Jesus Christ.
Every time we come on the stream with you, Pete, it's just like the worst experience ever in these draft rooms. Like, we've never put together a team that was like, yeah, that was good. That was a good one. Everyone is just like, what the fuck did we just do?
And I was tilting because the Big Mitten we did a while ago, I thought I was going to run away with that. And then, of course, Paul stormed back with his Barkley and Diggs shares. And so then I got cucked on that one too. And that would have been a fun one because I had 3 Eagles. It was a Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta team that almost advanced. I think he got me by like 5 points. Talk to me about Battle Royale. I have to run to the bathroom real quick. Can you guys vamp about Battle Royale right now real quick?
That's what we do.
How does that? Ooh, tempt me with a good time.
John, are you still CMC 101? Have your thoughts changed since 2 hours ago?
No, I'm CMC 101. I'm Kelsey with the next, and then I'm mixing and matching those quarterback stacks. One thing I'll say about Battle Royale this week is the prevalency of the premium stacks is way, way higher than we've seen in a long time. So like just your ability to obtain Kelsey Mahomes at like 9% frequency, or your ability to get Josh Allen and Diggs at like a 20% clip. Like these are impossible stacks in like the 13 game slates. And for whatever reason, the way this week's shaking out, they're very obtainable this week. So yeah, it's weird because with only 4 games on the slate, like the whole scroll the F down mantra that we're always preaching, like doesn't hold as much weight because you're sacrificing way too many projectable points way down. So I think my biggest takeaway this week is I've been getting over correlated and building out like pretty crazy onslaughts from game environments that I like versus the other ones. And that's been kind of, I don't know. That's where I'm going with it. What do you guys think?
Onslaughting is fun. And I feel like there could be some beatdowns on this slate, no doubt, with what some of these spreads are like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like last week.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, last week I think we got like treated to a whole bunch of competitive games where like every offense got home. And I think if we draft with that in mind for like such short game slates, it's like it's a fool's errand, because I think building 6-leg parlays on like a week like this isn't optimal with a 4-game slate. I think you have to pick a game environment, hammer the shit out of it, and be like, that's my path to uniqueness, is being over correlated on these small slates. Okay, chill.
Yeah. And I'll put another shout out. We have these pinned in the Badge Bros channel in the Deposit Kingdom Discord. I've been using these when I've been drafting the Battle Royales, even just for those first couple of picks. And you can get the combinatorial ownership here thanks to crowdsourced draft boards. There's also a thread for that in the Badge Bros Discord. And then shout out to Chad, of course, for keeping this spreadsheet live and updated. You can see people in here working right now, but it is really nice. Like you said, like some of these premium stacks this week, like if you just do the Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, 35% of these. So it's like right off the gate there, if you do that stack, not that that's bad necessarily, but you're going to really want to start to get creative after that.
Yeah. And then what I was saying, Pete, is that my way of getting creative was leaning into just further onslaughting that game, because the more pieces you add, like, look, if you scroll up above, it's just 2.6% once you add Devontae Smith. Granted, it's kind of hard to obtain, but I don't know. That's where my mind goes. You can also try and pinpoint and pluck out the Chiefs wide receivers as like in the same vein as we were just doing in the other contest, where it's like, if you can pinpoint who's going to score the touchdowns and who's going to have the explosion game on the Chiefs this week, I mean, you have a huge leg above the field there, because like Numi was pointing out this afternoon that like MVS is only drafted at a 6% frequency with Mahomes right now. It's like, if you smash
he's only
on
drafted
that,
6% of the time.
Yeah.
In all drafts. So
Yeah, it's interesting too. Yeah, Miles Sanders.
What percentage of people who draft these are not dead money? Like are not just taking guys off ADP, but actually thinking about combinatorial ownership and stacking and like just napkin math guess.
I would
Are
say
you asking who's opening their third eye enough in these to actually win first?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say at the beginning of the season, everyone was just kind of, blindly firing and phone shitter broing it. But like you were just applying like a couple DFS principles and you had a leg over the field. And then as the weeks have gone on, I think the contests have got sharper and sharper and tougher, that I think at least 15% of the field is like playing this way and playing like, more than 50 plus entries and in the Discord and talking about it and stuff like that. So I'd say at least 15% of the field, but like the way these structures are too
is the call coming from inside the house? Like, are you guys the ones who ruined the games?
I don't think so.
I mean, who ruined the games? Who's doing content for this?
No. Okay, we ruined the games.
Yeah. We may have.
I play in these like a phone shitter, bro.
But that's what I was going to say. Like, even when you go in, if you're not going into these drafts with a specific plan, it is really, really hard to pull yourself out of the ADP vortex, the traditional double stack, bring back vortex. Like, it's so easy. You feel good. Like, oh, I'm just building this optimal team. So I actually think it going in with a plan too, or like you're trying to hit X amount of exposures. Like, I want to get X percentage of these stacks. And then you start to think about the ways you can diversify around that. Like, I still think the number of people doing that is very small.
I think one of the most unique ways we've seen people win is by taking cash chalk in DraftKings, like somebody that's like a really low salary play but projects really well, and then just putting them in your battle royale lineup, even though you have to scroll down for them. That has paid off. We've seen like countless of times, which I think is pretty interesting. I don't know exactly what it means, but I guess the projections have just been pretty sharp this year. I think we can all agree.
Yeah, the projections.
What are your guys' take on this specific slate as far as the scroll down ethos? Because it's easy to do that at wide receiver. It's almost impossible to do it at like tight end, and very hard to do it at running back on this slate.
I think because of that, we're seeing more double tight end builds than we've ever seen.
Yeah.
About 10% of builds right now are double tight end because of that narrative. So I do think just scrolling down to those wide receiver names is even just that is a good enough way to get different this week, because we're kind of seeing like this 40-ish, and 10 split right now, where traditionally speaking, we see like 30, 53 and a bit, like, like mid 30s, mid 50s, and then like 3% for these double tight ends. So I don't know if it directly answers your question, but like, I think it's still very viable to just build 1-1-3-1s, and you're going to find uniqueness via that.
Are you guys, John? I think one time I asked you, you would plot out kind of like the exposures and the things you wanted to do before you get into a draft. Are you still doing that, outlining your target exposures before ripping these?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I do obviously go phone shooter bro too because of the ease of access, and you're walking the dog and you're drafting some stuff. But I am a big like proponent of formulate a plan. But like when I formulate a plan, I also frequently deviate based on like what uniquely happens in front of me. Like the fact that Barkley's falling this far in this room right now is like the combination of CMC plus Barkley is 0% on our sheet.
0.53%. Yeah.
Oh, it's 0.5 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like that would be a spot I would deviate if I wasn't like thinking, oh, we're gonna build San Fran.
Fucking nerds have ruined everything, man. You can't even gamble in peace
yeah.
anymore. You got to be thinking about combinatorial ownership. Like horrible, dude.
Well, think about like even like video games and shit like that. Like it's gone so far that like people.
I don't have any fun playing video games anymore.
Exactly.
I play FIFA Ultimate Team, and it's all about the reward cycle and it's not.
Oh, how much money can you put in to get your little lottery pack? Yeah,
I've been liking to take 2 of these 3 secondary pass catchers here. Any other ideas? You could go the John like Debo Kittle.
Yeah, I would I sometimes do the triple onslaught, like the Debo Kittle and CMC because it's so low owned and Purdy's free every time, and you can fall back on the Dak as well if you get boxed out. Yeah, I mean, you didn't have to, but it's one thing that I've been doing more than the field, and I think that's a good point of leverage from the 101 because most people with CMC don't double tap both San Fran guys.
Are you bringing it back with a Cowboy then when you have 4 Niners? Yeah.
I mean,
just basically load up on this game.
I would do it that way, or I could also do it like where you play this as an onslaught and I bang out 2 other from another favorite environment, such as Miles Sanders plus Dallas Goedert, or like, which is obviously not possible in this build, but just in general.
Right. Are these all going to be your teams? Here,
yep.
Yeah.
2%.
Is it? We're still at 169. What is that? It's 4 teams of yours.
Yeah,
what you're going to have to start doing is doing that, but doing Ayuk instead of one of those and taking your detour up there.
Yeah, good call.
Let me go back.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things to think through in these games, and I think it's more fun to think through in a portfolio standpoint too, like the way that you can build out like a structured portfolio in terms of like where your exploitation over the field is. Like some weeks for me, it'll be in roster construction. Some weeks it'll be one isolated game. Some weeks it'll be one isolated player where I think the 106 should be the 101 and I get over the field that regard. So it changes week to week. It's a beautiful game to play.
I really enjoy doing like 2 teams, but not from the same game, with the thought that the bringbacks are overused and it's maybe a little harder with only 6 roster spots to like overstack a game and get an edge. Whereas like just onslaughting 2 teams, I seem to like how those look, and I feel like they're relatively unique.
Yeah, it's extremely viable this week with how concentrated just everything running back, and everyone's just like it has to be. Like if you're not just fully onslaughting it, people are just loving the minis. Just mini up, do a little mini run back.
I think we definitely probably want Pollard here, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the most logical, but then you run yourself into a problem where what do you do with the other? What do you do with the other piece?
Oh,
right?
He just went.
Yeah,
Schultz
I think
went.
Pollard or Pacheco. I think Pacheco has pretty nice upside against the Jags.
Yeah, I
the
think
problem
Pacheco
is if we wanted. Oops.
No, you're good. You're good. If you went Pacheco plus Juju, and then that whole game funnels through that, and then that would kind of be the alternative. Now that you've gone this way, you can go with like Gallup, T.Y. Hilton, or
we'll just grab Purdy for now. But
Pacheco's ADP versus McKinnon's right now is the one thing I'm just looking at per projections that it's just telling me it's just wrong. I know once we get out there and he has 2 passing touchdowns, it's just going to be like, well, there it is again. You know what I mean? Like, but,
8 yards.
But I looked it up and it's like, or I'm looking at a combo ceiling I have and it's 16 to 18 versus what is it? Like, yeah, ADP 16, just barely being Pacheco's being drafted only 66% of the time in ours. So versus McKinnon, who's always going. That just seems like a fun way to leverage Casey builds until nothing funnels through Pacheco. So
yeah, you basically try to get the first half hero for the Chiefs and then Pacheco as the second half hero and just try to capture it all that way.
Pete's so resistant to Brock Purdy until now.
I mean, when you start a draft with CMC, Debo, George Kittle, you don't choose Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy chooses you.
Oh, man.
Just imagine.
So the one wrinkle in these
Mahomes.
that's really fun is we've been having we had it yesterday. Joe Burrow has just been falling over and over. Like to the point where he's gone undrafted sometimes. You can see he's only drafted 99% of the time or something like that. Maybe
people are really spooked about the O-line.
Or maybe it fixed. It was probably a bug. But yeah, he would. Now, there was times where he would go undrafted. There was people were faced with like, do you take naked Burrow at this last pick here, or do you take a Dak Prescott type? There was a time where a guy had Jamar Chase set up perfectly for a Burrow, and he said, you know what? No, let me take Brock Purdy instead. And we're left in the dust. So that's been one interesting thing. Projections will tell you that, I mean, Daniel Jones has a higher ceiling versus, so it's like his ADP started at what, like 6, John?
Yeah.
And has drastically fallen, but still he's, like you said, when we would just line up a Bengal, like if you line up a Bengal early, you're going to have a shot at Joe Burrow, like more often than not. Yeah, I like Gallup here.
Yeah.
You're unique enough. This is one conversation we had a little bit of today where you're unique enough in your structure right now that you don't have to gal brain the last wide receiver.
Yeah. The thing that's so interesting about the Burrow ADP in Royale relative to in these returns is like, so basically the market is saying, we think the Bengals are going to advance or have a really good chance to advance, but we just think they're going to only score 14 points this week. Like, is that what the market's saying?
Yeah. There's the way that they're not in lockstep is like really bizarre to me.
Because if you were treating them how they're treating Burrow, the logical thing would be like Burrow should be going closer to where Dak is going.
Yes.
The returns, like that gap doesn't make sense.
But it just shows you how much we're tethered to ADP in these structures, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that is really, so you think it starts there somehow and gets anchored, or is there actually Numi or Nej, you said that there's lots of people worried about the offensive line. Is that chatter going around?
Definitely. With 3 starting offensive linemen out, I think, and just like the way that everyone has always thought that the Bengals line is objectively bad, even though Burrow has done a lot in his own power to kind of limit like the sacks and the pressures. But with 3 offensive linemen out, people are scared. And in Buffalo, a little bit of weather. There's some FUD.
Yeah, it's interesting. Fellas, this was fun. I got to go, shake off some Big Mitten Russ and just kind of get my head straight so I can fire at this, before they launch Big Mitten return 69 tomorrow morning. Do you guys had a show earlier today? Are you guys having any other shows before playoff contest lock?
Not in the plans. No. Not in the plans. We like to keep our weekends try to at least, but we'll see. I don't know, if I run hot, we might have to do something.
Wow, there you go. Numi, any final takes for these battle royales this week?
Don't send me a screenshot of a lineup because all the lineups look good.
Okay.
I like it. I don't want to see a screen. I want to see a screenshot. I'm literally, there's a challenge I want to do, and it's just find the grossest lineup that you think is like feasible, because I'm tired of seeing, oh, look at this. It's like, cool, I'll go draft that right now. Awesome. Your screenshot does nothing for me.
I love how you are already bitter about these. Numi, are you going to get a tweet out to mush? Who are you going to mush this week? Because you were talking shit about all of our backdoor Jag stacks, and now we're all in the second round.
Dude, that was hilarious. I'm just sitting there enjoying the game. Like, I have Jags too, and I'm just like, how are they looking? I didn't even mean it anyway. The amount of people. No. The amount of people. No. that was at 20. I tweeted, quote tweeted Big Cat, Barstool Big Cat. He's like, he literally put like a clause, like, I'm tweeting this as they're down 27-0 and he's thrown his 4th pick. Like, so if you come back and quote tweet this, you look bad. And I'm just like, everyone's just funneling through. I'm just like, do you not know when the time that this tweet went out? Like, oh, good. I'm still getting people liking that, like here and there, and like a comment the next, like, it's unreal.
Don't get dunked on by Pete. That's the lesson.
I know. I'm glad Pete could get a little like there and a little clout. That was awesome. They kept rolling in. They kept rolling in.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. I'm trying to find it on your timeline. I can't find it anymore. I think you might have deleted it.
No, I didn't delete it. I don't delete anything. I'm not one of those. You can go find it. It's hilarious. Like the ratio.
Oh, here we go.
Would come out and play. Like it's
no. The thing was too, is it like. It literally just the way I just used the home feed. Like I wasn't even on your profile. It just like launched it into the thing. It was right after they won. I was like, oh, poor Newbie just got freezing.
I like the dude that commented Newbie's a clown. And I liked it right away. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, Newbie's good. And he deletes the tweet right away. I'm just like, no, keep it up. I'm good. I'm a clown. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
You have it too. Oh my God.
All right.
That was good.
Davis, any final hot takes from you? I can't.
We got to figure out you don't want to figure out our NFFC team.
Well, I literally got to go and take care of a child, but I do want to huddle with you about our NFFC team. We will do that.
All right. Yeah. No, I got nothing, man. I just need a couple $1 million if any of these gambling sites want to figure out a way to get that money into my bank account.
I genuinely hope you ship one of these tournaments with a Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy start, and it will make
that'll be such good content. That'll be extremely good content. I'm gonna go.
You and Karade probably go just fucking sipping Mai Tais on an island with your.
Well, I don't think winning the Mitten returns again harder than ever back with the Vengeance 3 is gonna get me there.
Harder.
You guys are sick. You act like I'm trying to get out of a show I've been doing for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
GA will let you have it, man.
Yeah, Paul and GA are out at me right now, just going nuts. Like
GA already hung out for an hour and a half with us too. This guy's putting in a 4-hour shift too.
Yeah, go see your family. She's sick.
He misses a show. I don't think
get a job, bro.
Get a job. All right. Appreciate you guys. Good luck this weekend. Check out the Badge Bros. Check out Davis Mattek on Twitter. Come hang out with us in the Deposit Kingdom if you guys want to see some of those combinatorial ownership spreadsheets, all of that. It is pinned in the Badge Bros. We will see you guys at the top of the leaderboards. We all need to collectively chip away at Karain. We'll see you guys on Monday.